She pulls out this 2x4, like that long, like that thick, but I thought she was going to pull out a knife.
Yeah.
She pulls out that, and I'm like, okay, at least I'm now out of her vision. Then she keeps running at me and stopping.
Yeah, let's fucking go, bitches. Welcome back to episode 87
Oh my
of the
god.
FireCast. We have a full fucking table today. Joey K. Raz, what's your like superstar name? Is you got like a nickname, a show name?
I think it's RAZZ Lord. Instead of Riz Lord, it's RAZZ Lord.
Raz is a cool enough name, I think.
The RAZZ Lord,
The
boys.
RAZZ Lord.
Wasn't it the gay wizard at one point?
It was. That was the original plan. It's the gay wizard.
On the Halloween ages ago, we're gonna.
I was going to come dressed up, but I was going to crop a shirt and everything for you, boys.
Thank you for just no. That unclip. Help him there, DZ.
Alright, hang on.
God damn. See, he's a wizard. He did that with his fucking magical powers. It just beautiful. Raz, thank you so much for coming on, my bro.
No, thank you, boys. It's been a long time coming, eh?
Yes, it has been a long time coming. So, guys, if you guys don't know, Raz is one of Jimmy W's very good mates who, Raz, you also own your own business, which is something that we're going to dive into because we love talking about business and investing and money on this show. So we'll get that stuff out the way first and we'll have a little chat about that. Because you and Joey K actually have the same business. These are both...
Oh, well, I mean, the same field.
The same field, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fucking great. But before we do that, let's go around the table. DZ, how's your work? How's your week been? You've had a big fucking week, haven't you?
We have had a bit. We did the show, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that too afterwards.
So we did the show. I quit my job yesterday.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh,
For the first time. And it wasn't fucking, you know, like a nice 2 weeks notice thing. Like my boss is a fucking prick.
What happened?
He's just pushing me too much, man, on purpose. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm getting paid.
What do you
dog
mean
shit.
push though? Like
He's doing it on purpose, like being a fuckwit on purpose. Like he's like that. He's that type of dude who just fucking, you know, he comes in a bad mood and he just makes everyone fucking eat shit. And I'm like, you know what, fuck this, man. I was looking for new work anyway, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
I'll manage.
You don't need that, bro.
Nah, I was getting paid dog shit anyway.
so what did you do? Like the whole "fuck you, I'm out," or like did
I
you
dropped my part because we got staff passes. I was pushing this lounge, right?
Yeah.
I was doing something. He wasn't even. It was his day off. He's supposed to be off on Fridays anyway.
Yeah.
It was his day off, and he comes in anyway. And I was doing something. I was doing work that my colleague had asked me to do. And he goes, when I saw him, I didn't say anything to him. He hadn't said anything to me because I'd never liked him. Like we weren't, you know. And he's like, "What are you doing? Do this first." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And he didn't say anything. I was like, "I'm just doing whatever." And I went. And I was moving this lounge, and then he saw me again. And he's like, "Where you putting that?" I'm like, "I'm putting it in the fucking room where you told me to put it." And he's like, "No, you can't say that to me." I was like, "You know, I'll get someone else to do it." I just dropped my pass on the table.
Fuck him, man.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck you.
He was doing it on purpose, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
he's been a
what are you
fuckwit.
being a fuckwit for? So anyway,
That
fuck.
shit feels good, man.
It did feel good. It was liberating. I've never done that before either. in my
Did you
life.
storm out? Did you make it dramatic as? Did you slam the door on the way? Oh, actually, no, they're auto doors. So he's like, fuck
No,
this place. He's like,
And he's like stuck there awkwardly.
Yeah, you
waiting
know,
for it to
when it doesn't open and you have to stand back.
oh my God, yeah. You're like trying to wave.
There was no doors, but like I was on the other side of the store. It's a big store, and I was walking past. I just said to my colleagues, I was like, "See ya, Gary, see ya, everybody," and I walked out. But
I feel like you're still got to try to find a door to slam.
and it's very out of character for me to do that too.
Yeah.
I'm a very placid, very do as I'm told kind of guy, especially in work. So for
This
me to
obviously
do
was-
that, it was like
It was brewing for a while.
it had to be. Like he's just
Yeah, damn.
But anyway, I'll manage. It'll be right.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
not
be right.
stressed.
We'll be right.
I was just saying before on the way here, you're lucky you live in Sydney because I know you said sometimes it can be hard to look for work, but the work is kind of booming. You know, what I mean, you might have a break.
There is a lot
You
out there.
might take a month, but I feel like if you
find
just
a job like that.
if you stay unemployed for like a lengthy period of time, I feel like it's because you don't want work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's right.
Because you can
There's
do,
a lot
you can
out
do
there.
anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, so I've been good. The show was good. We'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, the show was good.
Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I had.
It was Sunday,
It sounds
yeah.
stupid, but we have this like every year. It's like the family gets together, does the Christmas tree together, like everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, those two collided.
It was Sunday.
I would
It
have
was
liked to
hard,
be there, but
We'll talk about that anyway. So Joey K, your week, just how you been? What's been going on?
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
I've been just living life, living large. I've just working, busy as obviously. Like Iggy tells me that I have a bone. You guys, the fans,
Yes.
have a bone to pick with me
They're
because
not happy with Joey
I've
K.
been in your words, guys, slackening off.
Yes.
Okay. But let me get one thing straight. All right. I love this shit. All right. Hey, if I can't rock up, guys, just know, like, Because we always liaise together on the inbox, and we're like, all right, when can we do it? When can we do it?
Yes.
If I can't be here, it's because I literally cannot be here. You know, I have a woman I have to keep happy at home. I have a family, other commitments. Everyone's got commitments, but I feel like we try to do our best. You know what I mean?
It is hard sometimes, man.
I feel like we always have at least two. Like sometimes if DZ is busy, it can be just us.
Yeah.
Or if I'm busy, just you two. Or I feel like if we try to get all three regulars on, like all three of us on at the same time at least, if special guests, that's fucking hectic. But when we can't, we just try to do the best we can. You know what I mean?
End of the year's tough too, man.
It is December.
Yeah,
guys.
for
It is
sure.
tough.
But I do love doing this shit. Like I do. Every time we come, it's fucking mad.
Yeah.
And
So Joey's back, everyone. But now, Raz, let's talk, man. Business. How long have you been doing it on your own? And what was the jump to do it on your own? Because we spoke about this with Joey K before on the show. What was your reasoning? Because I love it when people have their own businesses. I think it's like the next step from that regular life. So what's your jump to do that?
Mainly just fucking being sick of working for people that don't appreciate you, man. Like you get paid shit. I'm like, you never get, not that I need like someone to give me a pat on the back. I'm like, but you never get
Like a good job.
A good job, man.
Yeah.
You did well on that one or something like that. I'm like, just fuck. The last company I worked for, especially, man, I'm like, they would like hound you, bro. Like I'm talking about like they had like little trackers and shit like that. Like if I got there at 7:02 and I booked it, like started work, like click start work at 7, I get a call. Why are you charging us for an extra 2 minutes, man? I'm just like, fuck that shit,
My
man.
God.
I'm like, I just had enough of it. I'm like,
okay.
go out, try and get a bigger piece of the pie for yourself. I'm like, you got your freedom. If I want to have a day off, it doesn't fucking affect no one. I'm like, I don't know. It's just better living, man.
freedom, man.
Just better
Boss
living,
man,
baby.
being the boss.
Especially if you know what you're doing in that field and you're like, wait, I could be making this. Because I know that was my reasoning. I could be making this, but I'm making this. What the fuck is that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know you'd be good at your craft as well. I feel like you're a pretty, like, intelligent dude. So I can, I've never seen you on the tools, but I can imagine that you know your way around a pair of pliers, you know?
Yeah, I can twist a screwy.
Yeah. Ooh. I think that's RAZZ's way of flirting in electrical terms.
So how long were you doing electrical before you started your own business?
Since I was, 17? I'm like, I
Oh,
think
shit.
I've been doing it for like 16, 17 years now.
Oh,
so-
shit.
Usually, if you're a sparky, you are doing it since like
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Like realistically, I should have pulled out of school at the end of year 10, like most people do when they're going to go into a trade. But
Did you
I was-
stay
I
to
was-
year 12?
yeah, because I was like, I'm never going to get like 10 weeks of annual leave again for the rest of my fucking life. And I get to hang out with my friends every day. I'm like, I can do that for another 2 years. I'm like, fucking giddy up. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I
That's
just
good
went-
reasoning.
So I went to year 12
Yeah.
for basically no reason. Had heaps of fun. Was gutted on the last day of school
Yeah,
that
of
I had
course.
to go out into the big world. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So and that's the thing too that people don't realize. It's kind of like when you leave school, there's no real guidance, is there? They don't really.
There's no life lesson class.
Not even in school is
They don't
guidance.
they don't sit you down and go, okay, if you want to make a little bit more coin but work a bit harder, you should start a business. Or if you're happy just doing this, you can do this. Or you can do this. You can make money online. If you want to, there's none of that. It's just kind of like, yep, go to your 12, and then now you go to uni so you can be a fucking. There's no like. So when you left, did you have like? Was it family members saying like try this, try like why did you gravitate towards electrical? Was that literally the first thing you did and you just stuck with it, or did you chop and change for a bit?
My old man was a Sparky, and like I didn't even really want to do it, if I'm being honest. Mum, like after I just had no idea once I got out of school, and Mum was like, "All right, I got you a trial for an apprenticeship. Go to that." And
Oh really?
yeah, and I did, and then I was like,
that's
making all right money. I'm like, I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like, I looked at what the rest, like what most other trades are and stuff like that. I'm like, you couldn't fucking pay me $1 million to do gyp rocking or some shit like that, man.
or a bricky or a concreter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Anything like that.
Got to
man.
respect those trades, but holy fuck, when I see them slogging it out, bent over, screeding the concrete, or laying the bricks with that string line across the face of the brick, and they're like,
Their backs
just-
are fucked
they're
and-
painting it like a cake, and I'm like, fuck that. And there's these old miserable cunts like with half broken backs with like leather skin from too much sun, and they're like, they're complaining about their failed marriage or the woman that they don't want to go home to. They're like, we're doing overtime, boys. I don't want to go home to my wife.
That's a very
Legit.
common thing in trades,
yeah.
right?
So if I'm going to get worked when I get home from the missus, but at least now I can get paid for doing it.
Exactly.
That's how some people don't want to go home to their wives. It's fucked.
it's fucking scary, man.
Kind of sad. I'm like, you always hope that you don't end up like that, right?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I want to be excited to go home, see my girl at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
not be like, fuck this bitch, keep me at work for
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
hours.
100%.
But a lot of people in our industry, right, whether it's domestic or commercial, older people, and I don't know if it's just our industry or older people in general, whether therapy back then wasn't a thing or like talking to someone or just leaving wasn't a thing if you're not happy. But like a lot of them, when you tell something, like I know in my experience in the past, if I've said, oh yeah, me and the missus doing this, or I'm thinking about doing this for the missus, something cute or something that's not, yeah, fuck bitches, they're just like, oh yeah, fucking, like they have a negative outlook on like you. It's like that whipped, like your whipped mentality. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But a lot of people aren't happy with their own lives, so they just spread the negativity because they don't, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's pretty toxic.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an old school mentality. Though.
It
is, eh?
Like in the 80s and 90s, like you're not a man unless you work fucking 15 hours a day, come home, your missus cooks you slap her, and then you go to bed, go to work again. Like that's like,
and she sucks your dick while she cries.
Yeah,
because she's not happy with her life.
I don't think that ever happened, but that's what they said happened. It's very, very fucking old school. So are you content with sort of what you're doing at the moment? Do you have like plans to start kind of maybe get it to the point where you don't have to be the one that has to run the company, or have maybe like a little apprentice or someone else doing it for you, and you can kind of have more of that feet kicked up lifestyle? Or are you kind of happy with what you're doing? Because it's hard. You don't really meet a lot of men who are just straight up happy and content where they are. I think it's human nature to kind of want more. Like we want a bit more. We want a bit more, which I think is kind of cool. Like everyone wants to be working on a beach in Bali somewhere while your businesses are booming, right? Like what's your kind of plan? Or are you happy with what you're doing right now?
At the moment, definitely happy with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like,
Yep.
I know. I like working on my own time, own pace.
Yep.
You don't have anyone else like relying on you or anything like that. Like there's probably maybe like say out of a 40-hour week, there's probably like maybe like 4 to 6 hours total out of that week where I'm like, fuck, a second set of hands have been pretty nice right now. But it's not enough for me to want to put on
and pay someone.
Put on and then be responsible for someone. I'm like, you have to make sure the work's there. You have to make sure that you're paying them. And also if it's a young fella as well, like you say if you give them a 4-day week or something like that, like fuck, you little young cunt, they're going to be stoked as with that because you probably have to pay them for that day off that they have. Yeah. But it's kind of jeopardizing their career as well. You know what I mean? Like
build lazy
yeah,
habits and
exactly.
shit, yeah.
Like if they're getting
right.
days off here and there because I can't be like, I want to take a day off or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know. I think it jeopardizes their career. So
I feel like you have to have continuous, like I'm talking
Like
5-6 days.
like,
And I know you're in with builders, but I feel like you have to have a builder with a contract saying we have 2 or 3 years of work for you, this many days a week, this many hours plus OT, whatever. Then I guess you can. But it has to be like you have to get more work. If you're going to take someone on, your profit margins would have to increase. So therefore, more work. If you're to employ someone, you need more work. Otherwise, technically you're losing money. Why would you employ someone? So then you got to get more work. And then it's like, when does it stop? I feel like our mentality as the business was the same when I still have my own, but when I was solely out on my own, I had the same mentality. I was scared to pay for anyone else. Like, as in like, feed someone else essentially.
yeah,
like
not necessarily scared, but I just don't want the
see,
responsibility.
I get scared
right now, man.
I was scared of that responsibility because I was like, if I want days off, if I want to go play fucking golf, if I want to do this, you have to always look after someone. You know what I mean?
And if you have a half day, I'm like, you're still paying that kid a full day's wage. I'm like,
And do you know how many business owners, and I've actually been through companies that don't pay me on time or don't pay my super or my taxes right. But do you know how many people fuck other people over with not paying their taxes right?
or
So they get
super
fucked. Or super, or they don't pay on time. Paying on time, when you don't pay on time, that's my biggest ick, bro. Like when someone doesn't pay on time, for subcontractors, they never pay on time. Fair enough. But
expected.
It's expected. But for full-time employment, you should have a set date. It shouldn't stray from that date. You got a 3-hour window period as well. As in, like, you should get paid between 3 and 5, or it should be like you should know.
Change,
You should know because it's like it's good to just have that security as a full-time employee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I got scared at having to live up to that because if I was going to do it, I wouldn't want to half-ass pay and be like, hey mate, listen, it's going to be a few days late.
Yeah,
you wanna
that's fucked.
you want to have all your
Fuck
ducks
that,
in a row.
man.
You have to be reliable.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Because no one's going to no one's going to stay with you if you don't keep them happy. As in, pay them reasonable and pay them on time and look after them. You know
Of
what I mean?
course. And if you look after your boys, like that's what I've noticed for a lot of companies. Like I have maybe worked for 1 or 2 guys here or there that actually do look after their boys, and then like the boys have put in a fucking effort.
Yeah,
back
it's a
for
happy
you.
workplace.
Yeah, but it's like if you don't give a fuck about the boys, I'm like, you never show them any appreciation, never do nothing nice for them. They're gonna try and take you for a ride,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
one,
100%.
and just not give a fuck about the work they're doing as well.
Yeah.
It's baffling too, because like when I was doing asphalt, like, and man, like I got to give it to him, bro. Like any type of tradie work, especially in Sydney, it's like you're in the trenches. It's like you don't go home till the fucking job's done. It's like breaks. It's kind of like you get a 30-minute break for a 12, 13-hour shift, and it's even then you don't feel like it's a break, because by the time you get food, order it, or you prep your food, heat it up, you got 20 minutes. You eat it, and then it's kind of like you got that pressure where like your bosses are like, all right, yep, you've eaten now. Let's get up. It's like, no, like 30 minutes, mate.
Yeah.
So it's just baffling that those type of people would come, or a lot of them, I'd say, would come from our background of busting our ass. They get into like higher roles of management, supervising shit like that. But then they treat everyone else like shit.
They forget.
And
They
it's like
forget what it was like.
It's like either they're forgetting or they feel like it's now they've done the hard yards. They can now be a piece of shit.
No, that's like continuing like that toxic fucking cycle, bro. Like when I was an apprentice, I got fucking shat on, bro. Like I was like just getting abused. Like not crazy. It's not like, but like
It's like that. It's like subtle bullying.
Yeah,
almost.
but then you're like-
it's like a rite of passage.
yeah.
almost,
And now in 2023, when almost 2024, fuck, it's scary. But where everyone's so politically correct, you got to, they, them, this and that. Back then, bro, some of the shit that was said back then when I was an apprentice,
bro, you get slapped.
Yeah,
Dude, 100%. I'm like, when I was an apprentice, I'm like, I had like my lip pierced. I'm like, my hair was a little bit funky and shit like that. Or I had long hair. I'm like, I fucking.
Did you have the fringe at one point?
Oh, I did like it back in high school. And
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
We're like, Mom, leave me the fuck alone. I don't know why you're American in that, but it sounds better.
But yeah, and like, like people just fucking crucify you for no
Yeah.
reason. It's like you're an apprentice, you look a little bit different and shit
Yeah.
like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking cop it, man.
Right.
Like some of the shit that was said to me, yeah, I'm like, people get fired for that shit. these
Yeah,
days.
100%. Bro, I promise you, bro, fucking Trip Bradley, who's been on this show before, when we were roof tiling, I wasn't working with him at the time, but before I come as a roof tiler, the tradie roofers got him that good where they fucking grabbed him and they like duct taped him with like 50 rolls of duct tape or some shit to like a fucking like a beam of a frame of a house, and they just left him there all day.
I think Cody was telling me,
Yeah.
wasn't Brad the one they bullied all the time?
They fucked him like to the point where I'm like, holy fuck, like this can't and the thing is too is back then is, yeah, you could probably try snap and fight them back, but these dudes are big fucking dudes. They're like fucking, hitting the gym. They're big motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah.
But like now, and again, is that why everyone is so soft in these days? You're allowed to
You
say
need a happy medium. You don't want people.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to work going, well, I'm going to get my head stuffed in a fucking bin today.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be like, oh, are you feeling okay today? Like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, whatever. But like now we got people on our construction sites. We have therapists come in, right? Not therapists, but like they work for the builder, and they're the mental health people. And you come up,
What,
and it's like,
really?
And they go,
Jesus
anyone,
Christ.
and they're like anyone with mental health issues, because like there was a guy on our construction site that apparently offed himself recently, like a few months ago.
Oh, no.
But because that happened, that's sad. I get that.
Yeah,
It is
wow.
good that they have a focus on mental health, but I feel like you can't. People don't want, especially on a construction site, if you're going to seek mental health, it's not going to be on a construction
At work,
site.
yeah.
Especially that kind of, like I was saying, the old heads have that toxic mentality. You don't want to be like, do you have a session free, like at the toolbox meeting?
Yeah.
But just to go off what you were saying about, the structure of work and how you have to have half hour. I was working on this job recently, and they set up these main switchboard rooms, like demountables. They build them on the site, not where it is. They transport it later because it's easier, like money wise. And we have to rough in the whole thing, and then, which is easy as, but we get so many of them like every few weeks. And we're at this factory where they build it, and inside, like this is outside the factory, but inside the factory they manufacture switchboards. That's all they do, right? Pretty mundane work. You're in a low lit,
Same shit every day.
same shit every
bro.
day, and they have a fucking bell when to start
fuck
smoko,
that
when
shit.
to stop smoko, when to finish work, right? And this is how long the bell is. Ready? I'm gonna fuck it up. It'll sound like a retarded telephone line, but it was like. Well, how do you do a bell? That was like a full. Whatever. This is how long it was. Don't worry about the sound, but it was like this is how long each bell was. Ready? Beep. And that was start work,
Yep.
and so then when you're literally back in school, so they've literally like that way of
That's fucked.
I guess that's easier when you're working at where there's so many
it's like
workers.
a sweatshop setup, bro.
Yeah.
With the fucking steam, the steam roller, like,
and it's like, I
All
feel
the
like
Chinese, like,
it'll make you look like more of a shit cunt if you decide, you know what?
fuck this
I'm
bell, man.
going to have a 40-minute break today, like extra 10 minutes. Yeah. It's like, bring, and then everyone gets up and you're like, it's like, mate, didn't you hear the bell? Or like, what the fuck? I'm not in school, bro. Like, if someone's like trying to dictate what I do with when I take lunch, like,
work culture needs to change.
Yeah, it's bad.
Seriously, it's bad.
I had an argument once with my supervisor when I was ashfelding because I went to go get lunch from the servo and I come back. He's like, you didn't fucking tell me where you were going. I'm like, I'm not in fucking high school, cunt. Like, I don't fucking tell you shit. If I gotta go toilet, I'll go toilet. If I'm gonna go get food, I'll go get food. He's like, you know, people get fired for talking to their supervisors like that. And I was like, all right, fire me. Like, well, you're gonna do me a fucking favor. Like, it was very toxic place, man. That's why I'm fucking glad I got out of that shit, man. It was very bad. And the thing is, too, is that you don't realize when you're surrounded by so much toxicity, you start becoming that. Like, you act it because everyone else is acting like that.
yeah.
it seeps.
Or you might not act it, but you feel it.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
then
heavy.
And towards the end, I noticed I was acting like a fuckwit. Like when I first started Ashford, I was happy, chirpy. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do all the shit jobs no one wants
To
to
be
do.
fair, you were a fuckwit before asphalting.
Yeah, I've always been a fuckwit. But like,
Joking,
but
joking.
seriously, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
I've always had that kind of get go attitude. Like, yeah, fuck it. You don't want to shovel the shit? I'll fucking shovel the shit. But towards the end, you're just like, the supervisor's like, all right, someone needs to go do this, and out of a crew of 12 people, we're all sitting there going, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Get him to do it. And towards the end, I'm like, why? I don't want to work around these type of people. Like, that's fucked. Like,
You got to try and share the load.
exactly. But
You know what I mean?
there's none of that. And it's fucked
It's
up.
crazy that there's so many shit bosses and supervisors and things. Because I think, like myself, if I was in that position, I'd love to be the mad cunt. Like the guy that everyone loves. I'd be like, yeah, do whatever, you know. Like as long as the work gets done, what are you fucking whinging and complaining about?
Yeah.
Like it's the same result whether you treat your workers good and the work gets done, or you treat them bad and the work gets done. What's the harm in
Being a cool cunt.
Yeah,
Like,
like you know
Some
what I
people,
mean?
some people don't know the line. Like I used to work for this mob Star Group, which is like a big EBA electrical company, huge. And one of the PMs, right, the project managers, apparently the superiors thought that because he was eating lunch with us every day and he was like part of the boys, they literally said to him, and he told me this after we've seen each other post Star, so like after he changed companies, I just ran into him and we're just catching up, and he was like, bro, like we ended up talking about that job we're on, and he said, bro, the higher ups full said to me, bro, you got to stop having smoker with these boys. You're getting too close with them because
That's
you're blurring those lines. And I'm like,
fucked
bro,
up,
but
man.
I'm like,
Was it
bro,
like the Star Wars fucking Empire or something?
Yeah.
Fucking
It's like that's a regime almost.
yeah, and it's like,
man.
Stupid,
but
man.
like I believe in that. You treat your boys good. They see you as a mate, and then as
They'll
long
wanna work for
as you can still be like not flex your authority, but at least still be like, hey, listen, man, I need you to get this done today. But if you can have a laugh with that same guy, and he's like, yeah, mad cunt,
He'll do it for you.
You want to do work
I
for
got the
him.
best example of this, right? At my job, I just left, literally. My boss, right? Shit cunt. Like, he's just shit. And then my manager was the coolest dude ever. Like, he was fucking so chill, so relaxed. And everyone in the business loves the manager. And we love working with him. And when he's in and not the boss, it's the best time. We all get the work done. We have a laugh. We joke. Then when the boss comes in, no one wants to. Everyone's quiet. Everyone's doing. I fucking slacked off with the boss because I don't want to. I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
like,
you
why
don't wanna work for him,
treat me
yeah.
like she's paying me shit? Why the fuck would I do this? But then when the manager's in, he treats us good. I feel like, all right, yeah, well, let's do this. We could do it. He helps us. We do it together.
Yeah.
The boss is in. It reflects badly on your business, man. You're just shooting yourself in the foot.
100%.
And I'm like, that small business, right? There's been, in the span of 3 years, right? The manager was telling me he'd been there for 4 years, right? In the span of that 4 years, there's been like, now me leaving, like 70 people come in and out.
And that's bad.
in and out,
That's bad.
Coming in and out. For a furniture shop.
That's no bueno, man.
It's like a retail small team. That's bad.
They either got to up their
it's a
wages or
reflection on
treat them
him.
better.
And this guy's going to have a hard time retaining any staff. It's just going to continue unless you change your attitude. You got to treat your people good, man.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. But so Mr. RAZZ, so future plans for your business. Where do you see it? Do you still see yourself operating in 10 years, you on your own? Or do you want to get it to the point where you can sustain enough work, where you can be on a beach in fucking Vietnam and you know that you got a few guppies, you're going to treat them good, pay them good, and then they'll get the work done?
Of course.
Or are you kind of like, nah, I'm happy letting this fucking thing go as far as I can on my own?
Look, I would like to work towards that eventually, but I don't know, just when I'm ready for it, I guess. like once my body starts to cop it a little bit more, and I'm like, you know, and it's like it starts to get hard to do shit by myself. I'm like, I definitely like take someone on, and then obviously probably try and grow it a little bit further from there. But for the time being, man, I'm just happy doing my own
you're
thing.
just chilling.
I'm like, my body's in pretty good nick for 34. I'm like, I can still get through a fucking ceiling easy. I can get under a house easy. Not that I do that shit all that often, to be honest. But
you look like you take care of yourself, like you're in shape and stuff. And I feel like that's the biggest thing as well. When people don't look after their bodies at all, I'm not saying you got to fucking be in the gym every day, but at least get your body moving. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like it's the same thing. But I think you're similar to me in terms of you value your time as well as work time.
Of course.
Where I don't know right now in this point in my life, I don't know if I can speak for you, but let me know if we're kind of similar. But I'm like, I don't know. There was only a certain amount I was willing to sacrifice when I solely just had my business. I was like, I'm happy to keep this up. Like I was earning over 100K a year, and I'm like, fuck, bro, just myself. I'm seeing it all. But yeah, I don't know. There was only my ambitions were only a certain amount at that point. But life can change. Things can change, like you said. But right now, you're saying as long as you keep at this pace, you're obviously going at a good pace because you're happy with it.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. I'm happy going like that, man. Like if I'm making something around that kind of figure or something like that, I'm like, it's just me.
Yeah.
Like,
why not,
It's easy living, man.
Yeah.
It's just easy living. You got the freedom to do shit. Like I know. I never never really have the want or drive to be like a multi-millionaire, for example.
Yeah.
I'm like, money's like a means to get by for me for the most part. I'm like, if I got enough just to do the shit I want, have the few little things that I want, I'm like, I'm happy in life, man. I'm like, I like my fucking time more. I value my time more than anything
and
else.
there's no right way to do it. Like I understand the ballers out there, the rich cunts that are like making moves. I'm like, fuck yeah, get it. I love seeing people more that I know get after it. Like James, yourself, like it fucking everyone, like DZ with his raps. Anyone that has a passion for something that it's pursuing it like constantly, I'm like, fucking pop off, cunt. You know what I mean? But I also get the people that are like, you know what? I'm happy because what's happiness? It's all, it's all relative. What do you view that as? You know what I mean? So if you're happy with just this much instead of this much because this much requires so much more work, it's like, who's to say what way is the right way?
Yeah. And not necessarily like this much more work. It's like this much more time. That's the way that I look at it.
So Razz is just like me and DZ. We prefer time over money.
Yeah.
Every day of the fucking week. Don't get me wrong.
Money's
I love
good.
money and I'm trying to work towards having money and time, but I always pick time over the money.
Well, what are you going to do with your money if you don't have time to spend it? You know what I mean? You're spending 23 hours of a 24-hour day in the fucking workshop sweating out to make fucking $2,000 a week. When are you going to spend that fucking money? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You need a good balance, man. It's
but other than work, outside work hours, what do you like to do outside work hours, man?
Yeah, are you kind of doing like 5 days a week? Are you having a day off once a week? Are you like utilizing the time, or are you still a little bit under the pump 5 days a week because of Chrissy and that?
Yeah, I'm getting smoked at the moment.
Oh, really?
There's like, I got a lot of houses, like, people living in these houses. They're all like extensions and stuff like that. They kind of got to get wrapped up before Christmas. So yeah, I'm like, if I wasn't here right now doing this, I might probably be at work right now.
Oh, wow.
I always try not to work Saturdays because once again, I like to have my time and my freedom. I'm like, 5 days is enough to get by and keep everyone happy. But at the moment, sometimes, you gotta.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't mind either. It's a quiet Saturday. You're like, fuck, I might as well.
It's very give and take. I'm like, if it's there and it's busy as shit, I'm like, you just got to bite down and fucking cop it sometimes. And when it's not, then you appreciate it. You're like, got some breezy times and like get to relax a little bit.
So are you mainly doing houses that are like private clients, or are you like what Joey K was doing, where it was like a contract of a builder and they're sending you to places?
Yeah, I have like a couple of different builders that I work for. So they have various different jobs. Like one of them, for example, it does like a lot of like 2-story extensions and stuff like that. Okay, so you've got like existing house.
They're
like,
cream. Yeah. I reckon they're some of the best ones, bro, because it's already existing. In terms of profit, obviously new builds are better profit.
Yeah.
But these ones are more quicker handover. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like renovations and shit are better than, you get your pays quicker than a full rebuild, like a full new build, sorry.
Yeah, for sure. And that builder is like, he's an absolute legend as well. Like I actually like the guy a lot that gives me the work. I'm like, and he's the kind of guy that, you know, if he didn't have the money to pay you, I'm like, he'd remortgage his house just so that he could pay you. Like, I've never waited for like more than like 3-4 days for an invoice from that guy, which is fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
That's how it should be, man.
Yeah. Whereas on the other hand, one of my other builders that I work for, I'm like, that motherfucker will, take his time, really drag it out and fucking push the limits. So I'm like, hey man,
and it makes
do you remember about that invoice?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. Forgot about it.
And then you feel like a scab asking for.
Why are people like that? Hey, just fucking pay on time. Pay on time.
Hey, you should play that.
Me, bitch.
You know that, bitch better have my money. Every time Raz pulls up, like,
Why are people like that?
It's fucked, bro. But like, other than work, because we've been talking about work for a fucking hot minute.
Yeah.
But what do you like to do outside work, bro? I've been on a hike with you and James and Sal. Not saying you go for hikes all the time, but you're
covered in tattoos as well.
Tattoos,
music. You dabble a little bit into music, right? You and Jimmy.
Not so much these days. In our younger days, I'm like, you know,
you were in a band, weren't you?
Yeah, we're in band, like different bands. Like, since like I was like 18 to probably like 25.
Vocalist,
maybe
guitar,
longer.
drums. What were you doing?
Vocalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, James said you used to do like the screamo.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
like,
right.
yeah,
That was
metal
you.
vocals.
Yeah.
Because we're saying how that involves so much more technique than people see on the outer. Like when I was younger, before I knew anything about it, I was like, what are they doing with their lives? Are they angry? Like, are they angry 24/7? Why are they screaming? Just talk. I always imagine them just walking around like normal conversations going, how are you today? But like, you can fuck up your vocal box if you don't
do it properly.
From not doing it correctly, because it all comes through your diaphragm and stuff like that. It's the same as
not your throat.
It's the same as
it comes through your throat, but you I don't know how you would even like.
Well, that's the way that you should sing like clean vocals as well. For example, like anyone that's good, like you know, typically it's singing and stuff like that. They know how to. It's a technique of pushing it through your diaphragm to hold like a certain note and stuff like that, and then not tearing up your throat as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you end up like, there's some horror stories of people that have ended up with like, you know, like ulcers on their throat and shit like that, just from just tearing the voice box out.
Naturally, when you scream, you can't. I know you can maybe project it from your diaphragm, but when a scream is a scream, right? I feel like the louder, for some reason, it's like the louder you scream, it kind of vibrates. I'm not a scientist, if you haven't noticed. No, but like, I feel like when you scream, it feels like your throat, it sends more vibrations through your throat. And it's like, if you're screaming, it hurts your throat. Have you ever screamed so loud? Like back when I was on gear, I used to have roid rage. And I was with the Toxic X at the time. But I used to just get random, like alone in a room and be like, I used to just scream cunt. Like I was honestly going through it at this stage of my life. But I was like,
I can't picture you like this.
Bro, you don't understand. Like I was at a way different point in my life. One, I let steroids like direct my life, and two, I wasn't with the right woman, and she was making me a certain way. Like I was different. But I remember at one point I was so angry. I waited till she left, and I was like looking around, I'm like, fuck! And I remember being like, I did like 3 screams, and then I was like, so like when I hear people like do screamo, I'm like, how do you do a whole 2, 3 minute, 4 minute song? Obviously, you're not screaming the whole time. It's usually and I've noticed it's usually like screamo, but then like a hook and then a mad vocal right with it. But even so, you're still going scream, vocal. And then why is it that screamo people usually have good voices naturally as well? Like when the screamo song comes on, it'll be a mad melody. I'm like, oh wow, I like this part. And then it'll just, the screamo come like, oh, there it is. There it is again.
Heavy again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not the case for me. I'm like, I can't fucking sing for shit.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, I'm like, I wish I could. I would love to be able to, man. I'm like, I'm very, as far as music goes, I'm like, I have one very fucking niche talent. I'm like, can't play any fucking instruments. I can't sing clean or anything like that.
But you can scream like a motherfucker. You can scream like a banshee.
That's my one thing.
How come not so much these days anymore? Just, you know, time fell out of it, or
work, man, hey?
No, not even that. Just bands fell apart over the years. You know what I mean? Like people go different directions and shit like that. And like friendships change and stuff like that. Like I still make some music with Jimmy and that. Like he's always upstairs in his little studio thing, writing music and stuff like that. I'm like, we've recorded a couple of songs over the last few years. He's written so much shit that I need to get to, but I guess time is a little bit of an issue sometimes with getting to that. But we do need to put some vocals to some shit because he's made some fucking bangers lately.
Which, by the way, me, DZ, RAZZ, and Jimmy actually do have a rock song. I just got to begin the mixing, the mastering. I think I'm going to need some more stems from Jimmy, guitar stems. because and it's a fucking good song too, man.
Wait a minute. The song you sent me, is that your vocals on that? On that?
No. So not the I want to be a criminal, but he sent me screamo vocals to layer with it.
Yeah.
But it's just that what I picture for the guitar, because I wanted Jimmy to give me a guitar solo over one of the hooks. But what he sent, I just picture a bit more. So he sent something real melodic, but I picture something a bit more like ba-na-na-na-na, like a bit more kind of like what he sent me for the whole song, because he sent me those stems. The second I heard that stem, I was like, that's the one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the one we're going to use. And then he sent me some drums. I put them together, started mixing it. I found because me and Jimmy were talking, we said the hardest part about this kind of genre is finding that vocalist that like, who can actually sing properly, not just do the screamo. And we're going, fuck. I'm like, fuck it. I'll see if I can look through the samples and find some things and see if we can find something. And that's what I found. And it works pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I'd prefer a real vocalist if I'm working. But again,
I'm not your boy for that.
yeah, I know, but it is what it is. But it's hard. But it sounds
like that song.
It sounds
like
good,
that
man.
song.
It's really in your fucking face, which is what we wanted. But yeah, so that's coming soon. Maybe before the end of December. I
Wait,
think.
so you're actually going to put bars to that track?
I did.
Yeah, he already sent me-
I
Are
did
you
already.
fucked? I didn't, see, I didn't even know that.
He sent me a verse.
A while ago, yeah.
like-
I was hoping, I thought like maybe he just, because I send him a lot of stuff sometimes
Yeah,
that doesn't get done because
Yeah,
we just, whatever.
Yeah.
Then I thought, man, I hope he does that one. I really hope he does that one because that one's
Yeah.
good, man.
That's what Jimmy Raz sent me some fucking screamo.
Yeah,
vocals
I haven't
to lay
heard
out.
your vocals either on
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
that's news to me.
I think Jimmy said we got to redo them actually. He said
Yeah.
something, I can't remember, some kind of producer lingo or whatever.
okay.
Something fucked up, and I think we got to redo them, but
He-
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
Like,
some of the stems actually didn't send properly.
Yeah.
So that it'd be fun to be honest if we come over to Jimmy's house and your house one time and we actually jam.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
Even
sick,
if we get
man.
nothing
Yeah.
done, we just jam. Again, get that brainstorm going. I'm a big believer of brainstorming and getting, as long as you start,
Get the ball rolling.
that's the hard part done. Because we do it once, and even if nothing gets done, we just sit in there and drink and talk.
Yeah, you just have
the
an
next
imagine
time we
regardless.
come, it will be like, all right, now we're locked in. We know what to do. We've been here before. It's like that comfortable setting. I'm a fucking huge believer of that.
The best way to start anything is
to
to
just do it.
Get the title done. It's like a school project, right?
Yes.
You log in and you just write the title. Next time you come, you got the title done. You know what I mean?
Exactly
So you just
right,
get the
man.
ball rolling. Get the ball rolling. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
God damn, this is
If you remember,
something that we've neglected here on this show.
for a long
Oh
time.
my God.
We still got some names missing. N3's got to come back one day.
We
and get this done.
apologize. Every guest has come on. If you haven't signed this, we're so fucking sorry. It's just
You
that
will. You will.
We're goofy. We're goofy.
We forget, man. RAZZ, we need your best celebrity signature on the
Yeah.
Trip Jacket Mafia plaque.
Easy boys.
Give us a fucking.
I got-
Wherever you want,
Wherever
pick a
you
nice
want.
spot. My signature's horrid on there, man.
Oh, no.
Wait till you see this motherfucker, man.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I like
That's
it. It was
that's
quick.
sick, yeah.
Raz has been waiting for that moment his whole life.
Yeah, I love the signatures that don't replicate the name whatsoever.
I like Diamond's one. It's like fucking.
He drew a little sign.
It's like it looks like my handwriting.
Yeah.
He just wrote in print.
And Hendo wrote his backwards.
I was like, did he spell diamond wrong as well? There's no A. Is it not
No,
meant to have an A?
no, it's just diamond.
Yeah. It's like
Got-
Diamondi.
Gotcha.
We're bringing that back. We will probably forget again, but yeah, if you haven't
God, that
signed
thing's
it,
got literal dust on
got
it.
dust
Hey,
on it.
Iggy's waving it around and I can see the dust on it.
it was worse before. I wiped some of it off.
Can we snort the dust? Or okay, maybe not.
Wait, have you got your signature here, Joey?
Yeah, he does.
That's
Oh,
sexy
yours
one.
is the best one.
Sexy one, eh?
I don't know if Josh
Wait,
has
who-
signed it. I
whose
don't
is
know
that?
if Holloway's. I don't know.
That's a
Yeah,
really
damn,
good.
that's a fancy motherfucker.
Sally. That's probably Sally.
Yeah, that's definitely. Oh yeah, it is because she wrote SW in dots.
That's Sally's. That's Sally's there.
Oh.
SW.
Well, anyway, if you haven't signed it, you will. Yeah, we'll try bring that back.
God damn.
Can I? I got a little story to tell you boys.
Yeah, you
that
said.
I've been.
Let's crack in.
You
that.
had a story
Yeah,
apparently for us.
Well, guys, bear with me. This just in. Local junkie woman from Kingswood, New South Wales, Australia, harasses local man on the way home from walking home from the train station. Joseph Khalifa explains. So listen.
Fuck, best intro to a
So-
story ever.
So I was just walking home. I got off the train at Kingswood Station, minding my own damn business. I had my Jabra Elites in my ear, right? Noise cancellation. Couldn't hear shit. I'm walking down the street, and next minute, there's this abandoned block in between two housing commissions, right? So I'm assuming she was from one of those housing commissions. But the weirdest thing was, from the vacant block in between, there's an opening in the fence. And there's nothing in there but grass and rubbish.
She's camping.
Listen, I don't know. So from my peripherals, I'm walking, and all of a sudden, housing, vacant land. And I do a double take. I'm like, that woman just came out of that fucking fence. She came out of the fence like she was one of the she was one of the clickers on Last of Us. And I look over and I'm like, okay, just keep walking. She's probably just, her house is clearly the same. The house is clearly in the same direction as what I'm walking. You know what I mean? She's going home. So she's on the footpath, and I let her have the footpath because I didn't want to walk close to her. And I was like, and I walked on that, you know, that parking strip next to the road where just cars park. I'm walking on that bit. She's walking on the footpath. Now she's following me, and she's like looking at me like saying shit. I didn't know what she was saying. I was like, okay, maybe I need to. So I put noise cancelling like off so I could hear through, but I just pretended I just listened to music. And she was like, come over here, I'll show you a good time. She's like, she goes, close your eyes. She's like, it'll feel like a meditation. It'll feel like a meditation. Come here. And she's
Joey
like,
revert to the junk pile.
It took a little while to get over. Yeah, it took a little longer.
And I'm like, this is fucked. I look over finally, because I'm like, I don't want to glance at her, but every now and then she'd skip ahead of me about 10 meters, like skip ahead. And when she skipped ahead of me, now she's diagonally in front of me, but her back to me. So now I feel like I can get a glimpse of what the fuck is this bitch doing? Because I haven't actually looked at her properly yet. I looked at her. She's carrying a broom over her shoulder, like a normal house broom, domestic broom, and she's got a bottle of Windex in the other hand, right? And then and she's like skipping. She's wearing a highlight yellow singlet, see-through by the way, nothing underneath, just see-through. And all the boys are like, oh yeah, fucking titties, let me say. No, it wasn't like that. It was, she looked like the lead singer from Aerosmith, but with short hair. And I'm talking the lead singer from Aerosmith, but in his junkie days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she has short hair, Aerosmith lead singer. Imagine that. If you haven't, guys, look it up right now. Aerosmith, short hair, junkie. She turns to me then, right? And she's got her little nipples sticking through, barely titties, mosquito bites more like, right? And they're sticking through like the Eclipse commercial. And I'm like, this is fucked. I keep walking. And she's following me for like this for about, and every now and then she'd skip ahead, walk back to me, keep talking shit, then keep walking ahead, then go, and I'm like, 200, 300 meters I'm following. And I go, I had to take a left, right? But she was walking ahead and I go, all right, my house at this point was only 400 meters from where this bitch was following me. And my fear was,
she'll know where you live.
She knows where I live. And I'm like, I don't want her to follow me home. So she's walking ahead and I go, all right, I'm going to cut left now. I cut left. She walks about 15 minutes and she goes, turns around. Hey, where are you going? Just follow me. And I'm like, this bitch, right? And she comes right up to me kind of thing, like from me to DZ away, about 2 meters away, right? And she's like, hey, I'm a fucking serial killer. Do you know that? I'll fucking chop you up, you dog. And that's when my heart started. My heart started racing, right? And I go, what the fuck? And I start kind of not jogging, but you know how you do when you're warming up. Do you know how when you're warming up for a run or whatever, and you start to do, you know how you run sideways, but your legs go out together like this, but like crab walks, but jogging. I was like, and when she said that, she's like, I'm a fucking serial killer. I'll chop you up. And she runs at me for like a split. And I go, whoa. And I start jogging like, I'm like, what the fuck? I go, oh, what? And I stopped. I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? I'm like, what the fuck's your problem? She goes, oh yeah? Yeah, I got a fucking knife. I'll chop you up now, cunt. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Then she goes to this suitcase that's already open, that's sitting on the medium strip where the grass is. There's a suitcase, a luggage case that's already open. She goes, yeah, cunt. She bends down, and I thought she was going to pick up a knife. I start hitting her legs, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I run about 10 meters, and now I'm backing up. I go, I can't have my back to this woman. Yeah. She pulls out this 2x4, like that long, like that thick, but I thought she was going to pull out a knife.
Yeah.
She pulls out that, and I'm like, okay, at least I'm out of her vision. Then she keeps running at me and stopping like, ha. And I'm like, what the fuck, cunt? Anyway, I start backing up. Let's just say there's 2 cars parked on the side of the road facing me, right?
Fuck.
And there's a fob family in the second car. But the first car that was looking straight at me was this white woman with blonde hair, normal looking woman in a nice looking car. And I was like, or nice-ish, like not a junky looking car. But I backed up, and then I looked in through the driver's side. She goes, are you sweet? Because she's seen this happening. She goes, do you want to lift? And I'm like, yeah. So I jump in this woman's car. She goes, she does a 3-point turn, like dramatic as, because when I get in the car, this junkie bitch starts like, she's dragging the 2x4 along the floor like a zombie. Like a zombie. And then when she's dragging it, like, and now right now she's about 20 meters. Yeah. We start doing a 3-point turn. When she's doing the last bit, reverse to drive, she starts running at the car, like what did I say, running, gaining pace. And she
like Terminator 2.
Yeah, and the girl's driving, go, oh my God, running, like putting it in drive, boom, drove off. She goes, oh my God. I'm like, and I'm shaking, bro. Even I've got goosebumps, bro. Like telling me shit. And I remember my heart was so jacked. Yeah. I was like, it's weird. Everyone's always scared of a woman. It's weird because junkies, junkies have crazy strength, and you don't know if it was a normal girl going, yeah, I'll fight. Like, if it was a drunk normal girl that's like, I'll fucking stab you. But I didn't know if she was telling the truth. Who knows if she was or wasn't a serial killer? Has she killed someone before? What was she willing to do for money? I'm pretty sure she went from wanting to suck my dick at the start to wanting to kill me.
To cut you up, bro.
And then so when we drove off, she goes, oh my God, I'm like, thank you so much for that. Like, this is like your good karma is going to come for you. Like, good karma. So she dropped me off about 400 meters down. When it's like, thank you, well, lock the door, boom, window, blinds down. Tori gets home. Tori gets downstairs because I'm like, and she goes, what's wrong? I'm like, I think I almost got sucked off and killed by a junkie in the space of 10 minutes. And she's like, tell me everything. I told her everything, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't tell anyone. You guys are the first people I'm telling in person because I wanted to tell the story in person. But I'm like, it's nuts because like, you never know what they're willing to do or what they have done. It's like, and I thought she was going to pull out a knife, like legit going to pull out a knife. And then later about 3 days later, we see that same woman outside Kmart at the shops. But unfortunately, I seen her too late. So I looked up, and by the time I made eye contact, she was in our line of vision. And then Tori's like, oh, that was weird. I'm like, what? She's like, oh, she was just like looking at you. And I was like, oh, that was the woman that picked me up. Shit. And she's like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, I wish I would have just seen her earlier and be like, bro, how funny was that? And just recollect about that time. But like, I've only lived there for 2.5 months, and that was my first run in. And I'll tell you what's nuts. When she picked me up, hand on heart, she said this. She goes, you know what's crazy? You're the second person I've had to save from that. Not from that person.
Like same situation.
Similar situation where someone was walking and getting harassed by a junkie, and she had to pick him up. And I was like, bro, you're going to have a lifetime of good karma. Yeah. Because I could have obviously ran home, and what I would have done, I've already painted the scenario 1,000 times in my head. If that car wasn't there and she didn't save me like she did, I would have just started running because, you know, I've been running. I can easily outrun her, but if she was chasing me, I would have just ran past my house and pretended and lost her, and then I would have just taken another way and gone home. But the thing is, why the fuck should I have to run home? I'm not even in school. Yeah. Fair enough, if you're in school, you're getting bullied, and you're like, oh my God, they stole my lunch money, and they're bullying you. That's fucked. But as an adult,
grown
and then you got some girl going, hey, I'll chop you up, you fucking dog. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like,
junkies must be destroyed. Just send them to Christmas Island.
Just
seriously,
quickly on the live, because you'll be watching this live when this comes out. Leave a comment, right? Where do you draw the line at that point, man? You fuck that bitch up.
Sorry. Actually, can I add to that? Can I add to that? So I got home, and Tori goes, after I told her, Tori goes, she goes, like, I said to her, like, I was scared, and she goes, scared, and she's like, but you could have handled your own, right? And I'm like,
junkies are zombies, bro.
But you could have obviously handled your own. I could have handled my own, but my first instinct when a woman, junkie or not, comes at me isn't to bash her.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I would have like maybe like if she actually caught up to me, would have just kind of like subdued her, like grabbed her wrists, fucking threw her on the floor or whatever, just like push her, maybe a little backhand, like whatever.
Yeah,
like
you could disarm her so fucking easily.
Oh, easily.
If you just got a piece of timber.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
she wouldn't.
I've watched enough UFC to know how I get into a rear naked choke. So
or you pull out a little baggie and throw it over there.
Yeah. Just put a line on my dick and be like, no, but like literally, like, and she goes to me, she goes, yeah, but you could have handled your own. I'm like, yeah, I could have, but like, at what point do you draw the line? And we were talking about that because when you started bringing that up, it reminded me. And she's like, and I'm like, at what point do you reckon? I said to Tori, would you be ashamed of me if I told you that she came up to me and she was harassing me and then she was like in my face and I hit her? She goes, I think if she pulled out a weapon like a knife, She goes, I reckon you have every right in you to like get the knife off her and give her one good crack. And I was like,
fucking one good crack. I'll fucking gutter stomp that
and then
bitch,
I go, imagine if, but then I said that. I go, imagine if you bashed her and then she's in court and she's like this, all bloodied up. And she goes, what happened? And he's like, it was self-defense. And it's like, wait, you mean after the 1-2 combo or after the gutter stomp? And you're like, after the gutter stomp.
First of all, right, junkie or not, right, girl, male, fucking, I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna
them.
scare someone to the point where they feel like their life is at danger, you deserve everything that's coming to you, especially a junkie. Now, yes, the problem with junkies is, like I've said before, they've got this weird superhuman strength about them. So you're going to have to hit them hard and more than once. A regular dude, if you're in a fight, you get that one lucky punch on the street, you could possibly knock them out and fucking kill them because they hit their head on the floor. A junkie, you're going to hit her and she will probably keep coming for a little bit.
I don't know. She was so frail, bro. She looked like
a bag of bones.
She looked like a Halloween decoration if she was a skeleton. Like her kneecaps, her elbow joints were bigger than her forearm and her bicep.
That is even scarier.
And her knees were the biggest part of her legs. Like her knee was like that, and then her quads and her calves. So she was like frail. If it was a bit more windier, I reckon she would have blown away.
Yeah,
like
you're in no threat from
no threat. But when she started saying like, because the way she said it, bro, if you were there,
of course.
like the reason I get goosebumps now talking about it is because it was almost like it was a script from a movie. Like I was honestly like, is Ashton Kutcher going to come out and be like, you've just been punked? Like, and she was like, I'm a serial killer. The way she said it, I still think like, what the fuck? Like, did she mean that?
Someone threatening your life with intent.
But after she said that, she did say like, oh, I'm only joking. And then she'd run at me and go, ah. And I'm like,
she was scaring the fuck out of me.
If you're joking, lead me to believe that you're joking. Don't continuously seek down this fucking serial killer act that you're putting on right now.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I wonder what she's doing now.
Is she listening to this?
Yeah, imagine
big fan.
And then I'm like, and then Tori goes, what happens if she sees you again? That's a scary thing. And I'm like, well, if she sees me
She'd
again,
probably forget who you are.
she'll probably if she sees me again, I might initially just take that head job that she was offering me. I don't know. And then Tori goes, and then when I said to Tori, I think she wanted my dick at the start, and she's like, oh well, do you know what's fucked? Tori said that because women especially in her situation, they probably do sexual favors for money because they want to buy gear, like they want to buy drugs.
100%.
And she goes, do you know what's fucked? I'm like, what? She goes, there's probably some guys out there that would go, oh yeah, whatever. And then they would have just got that. And I'm like, wow, there's really someone out there for everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like just if you're ever having a bad day, just know that junkie girl actually got a dick in her mouth. So if you're some ugly girl that's out there, like probably not listening to this, but if you're some ugly girl, if she can get some dick.
Just quickly, whereabouts was this address?
So it was. I'll send you the pin location. It's my most recently visited.
Send me the goddamn pin.
I'll send you the patch of grass you recited from.
Well, the patch of grass. Well, RAZZ, has anything similar happened to you? Or?
Yeah, do you have any scary junkie stories? Or
that just
when did any run-ins with like?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I grew up in St. Clair, so I kind of grew up. I grew up in the hood, baby. A little bit.
Love this place, mate.
2759 always, but yeah, no.
Kingswood's different though.
Kingswood is different.
St. Clair has never been like how
I was actually just saying this the other day. I did DoorDash for a little bit, like maybe last year, right? I was DoorDashing and I got an address at Kingswood, the Kingswood fucking
Housing Commission,
the apartment things, right? And I didn't know this existed until I went and did this job, right? So you walk in, you go through the driveway, and it's just brick pillars. One here, one over here, one here, brick pillars. No sliding doors or nothing. And I walk up this driveway, there's a woman on the balcony screaming, going like a junkie, screaming. There's graffiti on all the buildings. And you go up, it's just little stairs like this, and doors on each.
I would have left the fucking shit at the front.
And that's what I was like, fucking hell, this is crazy. This chick's screaming.
Was that across from the train line?
Yeah, across from the train line.
That's where I got done. That's when I got this girl followed me. Yeah.
Wow. And I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my God, this is Australia. You go 10 minutes down the road across the Nepean River, there's mansions, mega mansions. And then you come here, and I go up this fucking little spiral thing, and then I knock on the door, the reeks of weed. And this fucking stoned ass guy comes up. I'm like, I got out. The chick screaming. I'm like, oh my God.
That is, and he's just living
there's doors
next to
off the hinges, like on the side and shit. I was like, this is crazy, man. He was living in there.
Yeah, this is, again, it is fucked up. What I don't get is why did like junkies all just somehow migrate together?
It's because housing commission has to go somewhere.
It's where they put them.
But the fuck up is that we should have. the Aussie government should have spread out the housos, not put them into one suburb, because then you have a breed of fucking mindless
We've said
zombies.
this before. They should have like a 5 junkie per like
Suburb.
30-kilometer radius. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
5 here. They have a list. Yep, there's too many here. All right, this one goes over there.
Yes.
Send them to Christmas Island. Fuck it. Who cares? Get rid of them.
Find proper rehabilitation for these people. Like I know it's hard to.
They don't want
They
to
can't
help.
afford
I know
it.
a lot of them don't want it and stuff like that, but like if you look at other countries, like like I think Portugal is one of the examples. They've decriminalized like
Every drug, yeah.
every drug. I'm like, instead of locking people up and
They
all the
help
money
you,
that was costing, I'm like, they're putting it back into rehabilitating people that are like in bad situations with drugs and shit like that. And I know
That is a better use of money, though.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently, like their crime rate and drug use rates are down like dramatically from doing that. I'm like, there's no reason why you couldn't do the same thing.
Well, there's actually I don't know which country it is. It's in Europe, where I think it was like 2014 or 2015. They actually started. They built like facilities where people can go do like heroin and shit, and they've got literally people who work there.
Yeah.
Clean the needles for them.
What's the address?
They're there in case of overdoses. They got ambos there, and apparently since they've done that, like. Yeah, and while the junkies are there, they offer them help and rehabilitation, try to help the ones that want to be helped. But since they've done that, the crime rate is like, I think it's like, this is back then too, so now it's probably even better. Back then it was like the crime rate dropped from like whatever it was to like below 3 or 4%.
Yeah.
Same with overdoses, it was like below 2%, because the dudes that were overdosing in the facilities, there's ambos right there, and they help them, clean them up and shit.
Someone to save
Someone
them,
to
man.
save the
It's
fucking
like,
guy.
You give someone a good environment to
Yeah.
at least be able to do the drug that they're addicted to or something like that. I'm like, you give them a better chance at life, like off the bat right there, right?
But do you believe, though, because in Australia, I know there's a lot of them which is self-check-in, check-out. So in America, I don't know if they still like this now, but I was under the impression that in America, it's kind of like not a prison, but when you're admitted to there, you can't just leave. But here, you can leave whenever you want. So do you think, right, it's more beneficial for them to feel like they're locked up there, even though they're not? Is it more beneficial to feel like they have a bit of their rights stripped because they're in there, ultimately because they want to help them? Or do you think they should have the freedom to check themselves in and out? And because when you think about it, the first week, 7 to 10 days is the hardest with withdrawals, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
with
the-
any
that's
drug,
the
that'd be the
hell
hell. You need to be in there. But I know they have shit in Australia, 7 to 10 free as well. They're free of charge for people that can't afford it. They offer 7 to 10 day rehab centers, right? Like at Nepean Hospital, shit like that. But after the 7 to 10 days, which is the hardest, they'll go back out into society. But the thing is, I'm a believer that you need to, it takes longer than 7 to 10 days. It might take longer it might take 7 to 10 days for the heavy withdrawals to subside, but your addiction lasts more than 7 to 10 days. So do you believe in the more, strong approach and firm approach, which is similar to jail, not in terms of living conditions, but in terms of you're here, you have to do this extensive amount rather than 7 to 10 days? Or do you feel like the short span, which is like, you can stay in here if you want, but you can leave whenever you want? I know the latter, which is the optional stay in, stay out, whatever, that's cheaper for everyone. So obviously people don't want to pay thousands and thousands for like the forced one. But do you think it's more beneficial to have people kind of like, you must stay there to get better? Or do you reckon it doesn't matter at the end of the day? Because people that can be sober for 6 months, they can hit it again as soon as they're out, because they're like, fuck this, I've been just locked up here over 6 months. They could resent it.
You have to want to be helped, which is the thing. They're never gonna stick to it unless
the hardest
they want to
thing,
be
yeah.
helped.
Yeah.
And it's a hard question to answer, because
Yeah,
no one
true.
knows the answer.
Yeah, no one knows, yeah.
With being like sort of like you were saying, like the version of where they kind of get locked in and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's the way to go. I'm like, but I know you probably have to look at stats and stuff like that, but I feel like that would probably help more people that way. Like I was listening to a podcast with Steve-O the other day, and they was saying like he was talking about when he basically got like, when they took him in there, they pretty much just fucking like strapped him to a bed almost and just locked him up and forced him to stay in there to get him off drugs and shit like that. And like that's what got him sober and clean, and he's been clean for like over 10 years or something like that. now,
But that
15
could
years.
work the opposite for a lot of people.
Definitely it could. And even him, he was saying like, he was just saying in his head, like he's like, I was already reasoning with myself, like saying like, all right, I won't do drugs for this amount of time and stuff like that when I get back out, and then I'll ease myself back into it and stuff like that. So
He was already planning how he was going to relapse.
But that
He was already
guy,
planning,
that
but-
guy is a miracle story, because
The shit
you
he
watch,
does.
bro. You watch. When I was younger, I watched Jackass. I'm like, these guys are completely sober. They just really like having fun,
man.
But they were all bent. I
They
reckon
were off their
they got
guts.
together. I reckon they got together for prees. When I say prees, it was pre-recording. So that instead of prees where you go out and party, they'll be like, let's have prees before we record these stunts.
Yes, 100%.
I reckon they had prees, heavy on the alcohol, heavy on the drugs, and then they'd do something like fucked up. But when he was, because he was on everything, right? His story of how clean he's got and so quick in terms of when he decided, and that's that thing where you want to help yourself, you need to want to do it. But he's completely sober now.
He's awesome, man, and he was bad on the nangs, man. I seen like a documentary thing on YouTube of him. It was fucking insane. The shit that the amount of fucking nitrous oxide that this
boxes,
guy was like the whippets. Oh my god, man! And that he's still alive and kicking and fine. Like he's fucking crazy.
Well, I was at this after party once, and we were doing nangs years ago. But I never used to do them often because I thought it's like a 20-second buzz, and all you hear when you do it, it's like, and all you hear is whoa, 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 and you're like,
It's definitely not healthy. Yeah.
It's definitely not healthy at all. But this is how unhealthy it is. I won't name this person, but I was friends with him back in the day. He had so many nangs that night, his lips turned blue. He was still awake. He was alive. I checked his pulse.
His lips are just blue.
He was like, but his lips were like not blue as in fucking this blue, but like a tinge of blue.
Yeah,
and I was
fact.
like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what
That
are you
is
doing?
fact.
Because it apparently it
takes the oxygen
sucks
from your brain.
oxygen from your brain, and then a mate's ex of mine at the time, she was doing a party, and we were at a party, and she was telling me the bad effects of nangs while she was setting up for another nang. Like, she was like, she's like, these sometimes cause bubbles on your brain and shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, go suck it down, see how it feels. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't really dabble into it that much. I have, but it's never been something that I'm like,
Get addicted to.
I feel like you have to be a hard addict if that's your vice. I know ice is worse, but what a weird thing to say. I'd rather you be fucking hooked on ice because I can understand that. But whippets?
Nangs, that's. I've never ever done one in my life.
Strange
Well,
thing to get drawn to.
I got a change of pace. I got a question for you, Raz.
Shoot, my man.
Tattoos. Man, I like your tattoos. You got the fucking
colourful.
Yeah, you got like the fucking
You need to shave your arm hair so we
the
can
old
see
school
it.
style. Yeah,
I'm a fucking hairy beast, man. I don't remember I forget.
But then you look like a child if you shave. That's my
Yeah.
missus doesn't like when I shave, but
I'm lucky that it's blonde though.
Yeah.
I forget how hairy I am until someone shaves me down to tattoo me. I'm like, fuck, there's a forest
Yeah.
on there, baby.
yeah. Bro, if you dropped an ant on your arm, it'd be like an episode of Lost for eternity. Like it'd be like have a little backpack on and shit.
But what was your first tattoo?
Yeah.
Your experience tattoos. What age were you? You know, what do you got?
First-
Like, how'd you get
first-
that style? You know, what I mean?
First, what age? And what's the worst place you got tattooed? Go.
Oh, my first tattoo is like a little tiny fucking as cheesy as the little infinity symbol.
Yeah.
I got it on my ribs, like with all the boys,
Yeah.
like fucking Jimmy and like and all those boys. We all like it was like our friendship thing. It was like the first tattoo I ever got.
Did you hold
Tiny.
hands while you're doing it? Be like,
But-
infinity.
But yeah, and then that was at like a tattoo shop in Kingswood or something like that.
nice.
And the guy literally looked like he was tweaking that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proper,
How old were you?
Like I think 17. I don't think I was 18 at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And
like
then
him.
yeah, and then sorry, what was the other thing?
Oh
I
yeah.
think
So
was?
and then how old? 17.
Yeah, I'm
And then
pretty
the
sure.
worst place for being tattooed, like your worst place, as in like
Yeah,
the
the most
pain.
painful.
Fuck, there's a few shitty ones I got.
But the worst,
But-
like when you were like, what? I feel like they all. It's hard to
Like,
distinguish what's.
anything on your torso sucks. I'm like my chest, like right in the middle of the sternum. I'm like I remember that being fucked. Like right down on like my groin.
Yeah.
Like down on your groin, like on your lower belly. Like that eats ass.
So do I.
When was your last?
As a good man, son. Good man,
When
baby.
was your last one? Your most recent.
Oh fuck, I can't remember. Wouldn't have been long ago. I know. I get tattooed.
No,
pretty-
no. I
pretty
swear,
often.
no. You had one on your
At the moment.
tricep. Remember? We went hiking.
I got that done a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we went hiking, and then you had like the patch on your arm on your
Yeah.
tricep.
Is it
That-
all the same, similar style, same type of stuff? or you got
like kind of.
It's like that cartoon. I don't know how
It's
to
like
describe
I
it.
got like most of it's like traditional.
Traditional,
Like I'm kind of like some Japanese and Tibetan inspired stuff on this arm. Like most of it's just traditional. I'm like I have some Japanese stuff on my body as well, but good old saying bold will hold. So just get shit that is like thick and in there
Yeah.
and not going away anytime soon.
Bro, did your hand hurt?
No, That was fine. It was an easy place to get tattooed.
Really? I
But-
feel like I'm terrified to do
But
my
the
hand.
after of it sucks because it's my right hand. I'm like, so I do everything with it. You know what I mean? And it was blown up like a fucking balloon, bro. And then the first time I got it tattooed, it got funky. It got infected and shit. So it put me through fucking hell for like 2 months. And then it healed up, and then I had to get pretty much the whole thing re-tattooed again because most of it fell out. But the second time it healed up sweet, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
Was it staph or anything, or was it like?
No, it wasn't staph. It's just like when it just gets like
Inflamed.
it's like a big chunky part, and it wasn't staph.
Okay.
But you know where it just gets like funky, it gets like pussy, like almost like a if you cut yourself or something like that, and it gets like infected, and it gets like a pussy scab on the top, like that kind of thing.
Apparently, the palms is what hurts on the hand. The palms.
Oh man.
But why would you get? I've never understood like finger tattoos. They wear off so quickly. I like the look of them. I'm not saying I don't like them, but for me personally, I wouldn't give up the hand personally because I just want to be able to wear a suit and just look clean, like clean. It's not saying you don't look clean without it, but
I think it looks gun when you've got the suit and you just see the sprinkle of the tattoo on the hand and the neck, and you're like, okay, this motherfucker.
yeah, maybe that's
I like
maybe
that
that's
look, man.
outdated. My view is outdated because back in the day you had to be like covered up when you go clubbing. You'd have to be and then even people would like shun you if you had visible tattoos.
Yeah.
So maybe I would offer up the hand, but the fingers is what I'm trying to get to. That is the most, because you're using your hands for everything, right? They tend to wear out quicker. So you have to get them redone a lot.
And it's a smaller
area too, so can't do as much.
I think your higher knuckles, like across here and shit like that, would be
think they're good.
would be alright. Like I would get them done
But
eventually.
the
but down lower on the fingers and shit like that, I'm like, it always fades and falls out and stuff like that. Back to what you asked me, when was the last time I got tattooed? I actually just remembered. I wish I had enough room to show you guys the tattoo right now, but my mate that works up in Hazelbrook did a tattoo from like an old 70s flash sheet on my hip. So it's like an angel laying on her back and jerking the devil off, and he's got cum on his own tits. So it's like,
Holy, you got that?
it's on my hip.
Holy, did that fucking hurt?
That was an easy one.
Yeah, fuck,
Holy
man.
shit.
So from the age of 17 when you first got your first tattoo, was it ever since then, did you always want tattoos or like was it like kind of a slow thing?
Yeah, the next one I got was like a portrait of my nana and stuff like that with like her favorite flowers and like.
One sec. All respect to Nana, but can we go back to the devil jerking off on some girl's tits? Was that devil dick detailed, or was it just like back in school when you used to do dictation and you're like, is it like a fucking good looking devil like tattoo? Everything's detailed.
It's like traditional, so it's like that kind like. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like I must see this. Is it hard for you? Where is it on your hip?
It's on my hip. Like,
Okay, maybe after this,
after
after this pod, you gotta show
I'll
me.
definitely show it. to you
Yeah,
afterwards.
okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
but what were you saying? Sorry about that. You got one from your.
That was your second one, the portrait. And
Yeah, the portrait.
portrait.
of my
Oh, did you get
nana
a
and stuff
portrait?
like
Was
that.
it did it turn out good?
Well, that's like that's of my nana. It's like,
Oh, nice, nice.
But that's like from
Way back.
Yeah, that was like after she passed away. I think I got that in like 2009 or something like that.
wow.
So
Portraits
I've been
are
getting
like-
tattooed for a while now.
Portraits
I
are
guess.
like probably the hardest for. If I was a tattooist and someone said do a portrait, I'd be nervous because if you fuck a portrait up, so if he fucked your nana's face up, it's almost disrespectful. But if you got a tattoo and you're like, it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted, you still got the shits. But if it's a portrait, you need to nail that. There's no, because sometimes tattooists have told me, like when they've made a fuck up, he goes, you won't even notice that I did a fuck up by the time I finish because I've already covered it up. But I feel like you would know
on a portrait
where he's kind of fucked up.
Well, you sound like to me the type that is not so fussed. You know how some people go, it has to have meaning. Like obviously you're pretty lenient with the tattooist saying, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm a bit the same. Like I go in with an idea and then I just let them kind of, they can do whatever they want.
I think that devil tattoo solidified that idea.
Yeah, like you,
I've got a devil getting jerked up onto his own tits. I'm like,
Onto his own tits. I want to see if he's laying down. This is crazy.
God damn.
Like a lot of people, they go in and they want it. This is exactly how I want to do it. This is exactly what it's got to look like, But
Maybe we should ask the fans for the next pod, or if they watch live, send in your most either embarrassing or crazy tattoos that you have. I know I have one on my upper thigh, which is just a dove with my, I think I've said this in the past, I have a dove on my upper thigh. It was my first tattoo I got in year 12, and the dove is flying, and it's got a banner in its mouth, and it says Khalife, my last name. So lame. But if anyone has any funny tattoos or something they'd like to share, fuck, I want to hear it,
I was talking to Jimmy when I come over to your place for dinner the other night that he got tattooed on earlier this week, and it was just... They had no plan. He was just going to go in, and the tattoo artist was just going to do whatever.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that's just kind of cool.
I've done it once before.
Yeah?
Like a guy that just, he's like a really good, real famous tattoo artist. And I just had a big gap like up on the inside of my thigh that goes right up into my groin.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I might just go wild styles.
Feel this
do
space,
whatever you want.
Yeah.
And he does like Japanese inspired work. So I end up with like it's like a Hanya mask with like a scorpion body, but it's all tiger print and it's got like wolf claws and shit like that. It's like,
that's cool.
It's like this fucked up like mythical Japanese creature like
wow.
like yokai.
Yeah, okay. Fuck yeah, man. That's fucking
but
mad.
you'd have to go to a top tier tattooist. You couldn't just walk into Wicked Ink and be like,
no fucking
just
way.
Let's just do this. Like, you got to trust the guy.
Yeah, you got to see their work.
It's like similar to like a barber, but worse, because barber, your hair grows back. But you know how you just like, oh yeah, I'll go to this barber. I've never been to him before. I'll just trust him. But it's more because the tattoo's on you.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: the only reason that I would ever just go to someone and be like, if you had a gap, some random gap up on your leg or something like that, and you just like do whatever you want. I'm like, if you go on that guy's Instagram, for example, that artist's Instagram, and you like everything they do, then you know that you're going to get a good tattoo that you like. I'm like, if it's someone that you like, oh yeah, his work's like, or her work's like good half the time or whatever. I'm probably not going to go hit you up and be like, hey man, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, because 50% chance that I'm going to be like, fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's
This is the infamous cigar that you guys have been saving forever. That thing's going to taste like shit by the time
Yeah.
you get to it.
It's going to dissolve the dust.
Do cigars get bad though?
Yes.
Yeah, you're supposed to keep them in a humidifier and shit like that.
Oh my god, that's gonna taste like shit.
How old is that?
2 years.
2 years.
It's gonna. This is gonna have.
Probably going to be pretty shit.
This is gonna have asbestos.
Hold up.
This has got asbestos.
It's got sentimental value.
Yeah.
But are you telling me that people that sell these, obviously they're not on the shelves for 2 years. So, but surely there's like, I thought
That's what this is for. You keep it a little bit.
Yeah, that's
You
like,
try to,
that's like keeping it somewhat fresh. Look, it might be okay. I know. My mate Sammy, he's like a big cigar guy. He's a man's man. I'm like, he drinks scotch on the rocks. He's a big jacked motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he smokes cigars. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll ask him for you.
Yeah, ask
I'll
him.
hit you back.
Yeah, ask
I'm
him.
gonna say if it's gonna be shit, maybe still light it up, but maybe get yourself one.
Another
It's
one, a fresh
little
one,
fresher.
yeah.
So you
Well,
can actually
we'll have
enjoy it and
we'll have
celebrate.
a couple. We'll have a couple.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah, that'll be a.
this is just like ceremonial.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You just light it up like sage and cleanse the room with it.
Yeah.
Smell like
And then
shit.
When we've all got asbestos poisoning.
Iggy spiked it with angel dust, and we're just like,
All right, my boys, we got a speak pipe from the commie, who's been holding down the speak pipes, man. So shout out to you, my bro. I hope this is a new one.
why
This
don't
is-
more
oh, yeah,
people
3
send
days ago.
through speak pipes? By the way, like let's.
Oh, well,
like,
They got nothing to say.
Yeah.
well, fuck.
we,
Just
we need to come up with points to give the people to.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
how bad.
Run it.
I obviously listen to the podcast. How do I do a speak pipe? If you teach me how to do it,
Link.
I'm like, I'll send you some
The link,
shit.
the link in my bio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Click the link in my bio, and it
yeah.
says send a voice message to FireCast, and then you just record.
But
it.
even if you have any
easy.
funny stories or shit that's happened to you, like the best things to send is stuff that it's either happened to you or like
That's
I don't
like,
know,
yeah.
Or a question.
or even like a question, advice. I fucking love giving advice. Not the best at taking my own, but I love giving it. Like I don't know, just get fancy with it. Not that I don't love fucking the commies speak pipes or anything, but
Yeah, here we go, commie. Here we go.
if he farts again in
Boys,
this,
Friendly Neighborhood coming here, continuing this conversation. DZ, listen up, brothers. I just want to see how you feel about this. All right, so let's talk about the trades, all right, when it comes to this welfare system. So like people like me and Joey, where we provide essential services that are needed and probably will not be replaced in the next 100 years. Say a lot of people are getting this welfare system. Why would we wake up? Why would we provide these services when we could just get paid to stay home? And you could ask Joey, a robot's not doing his job. A robot's not going to be able to do the electrical work and the mathematics and the shit that he's able to work out with the ability that he has. I just don't think it's possible. Also, the other point why I don't think it's possible, humans crave human connection. I don't think the population would let it happen because, like, look at the Woolies checkout, right? We've got the checkout lanes where you can check yourself out, the self-checkout. But these checkout lanes fucking have cameras spying on you, have all this shit. You don't feel the complete shopper experience. But ask yourself, how great does it fucking feel when you go through a lane and there's a checkout chick there? The human connection is stronger than the dollar, I think. I don't think us as a human species or as a population will let it happen. This welfare system sounds great, but I don't think we're just going to roll over and let fucking AI replace us, dude. Let us know what you think, guys. Love yous. Stay hot.
Well, the thing, it's not going to happen anytime soon, is what I'm saying. But if you have a boss who owns a massive $1 million company and he can rather have a robot, but they 100% will be able to do your job. 100%. They had that surgery where the guy was in fucking England and he was doing a remote surgery by a fucking video robot.
I heard that.
Fucking, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's not anytime soon, but they will be able to.
And he probably died, the patient on the table.
But it's not going to be anytime soon, is what I'm saying. And I get what you're saying, and I agree. But the money that government would have to give you is probably not going to be a lot, and that's why people who want to earn more will be able to earn more.
The welfare system isn't like if the welfare system was enough to live off, then no one would work.
It's just a necessity. But I don't know. If I'm not saying anything set in stone. But anyway, like it's just I feel like in the future, many years, things are going to have to change because robots are already doing shit. You know, people are going to lose their jobs. Yeah. But what do you think?
So if I don't know if you listened to the last episode where we were talking about AI potentially robots taking over most jobs. DZ believes that most jobs will be gone. Again, whether it's in 10 years or 30 years, 50 years, I believe that it's not going to happen anytime soon. Maybe your little things like, self-checkout, and maybe they might have a robot like car washers. That's basically a robot that washes your car. That might get a bit more sophisticated, but I kind of agree with the commie where I don't see it happening anytime soon. One, just because AI, yes, it is scary how quick it's moving and it can do some incredible shit. But it's just we can't like I said, bro. There was in China. They had AI robot arms versing kids in chess as a trial, and one of the robot arm mistook one of the kid's fingers for a chess piece and broke his finger.
Right? Yeah.
That to me is an indication that AI is nowhere near ready to do electrical work or drive a truck. Or where do you sit with that kind of opinion? What's your
Look, I would say that some jobs are going to get taken over. Like for example, pickpacking in a factory. I'm like, it's easy that you can set up, like if you've already got conveyor belts and all this machinery that's already operating to, to filter things and stuff like that, you just replace the humans with more machinery essentially and just make it fully automated. That makes sense. Having like a C3PO that comes out instead of me or Joey to your house to wire in fucking 50 downlights in your place. I'm like, I can't see that happening until if ever, into the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
that's Star Wars shit, man. That's going to be like a long time away. But yeah, I think there's going to be some jobs. Like for example, I know, like obviously truck driving and shit like that. Or Elon's got cars that can drive themselves. And it's going to take to a point where the technology is affordable and it catches up to a point it's like. I know. Think about back in the day, for example, when DVDs first came out, even for example, that technology, that shit cost an arm and a leg to buy a DVD. You'd pay fucking $50 for a new DVD or something like that. And then until technology catches up, that shit becomes obsolete. No one fucking wants them. Or people are getting them because they're almost like an heirloom now to collect. And once technology once it catches up and gets to a certain point, that's when it will start to be it will start to roll out because it'll actually be affordable for the time being. It doesn't seem like it's affordable and and functional enough for them to be able to just do a full rollout for something like that.
Yeah.
What's your
I just believe that people need jobs, and if they really fully automate everyone's job or most people's jobs, what the fuck is everyone going to do? They're going to be screaming for money you force me out of my job, give me a welfare pay. They're going to give them $500 a fortnight. They're going to be like, this isn't enough to cover my bills. So I believe this to my core that robots aren't going to do everything, but they will do not the dead shit jobs, but the jobs that a monkey can do, like moving boxes. Good money. My brother-in-law plays footy. He's trying to get into the Panthers first grade, but he does pickpacking on the side. Earns a fucking mozza for what he does. Casual. He's saved up a pretty penny for himself, pickpacking and shit. Well, now he does aged care. But what I'm trying to say is an aged care, shit like that. You need to be gentle and loving human contact, like M16 was saying.
Interaction has to
a robot's going to be like, let me wipe your ass. And it's the guy's going to be like, oh, I can't, breaks his back or whatever the fuck. You need, you need that. Like nothing can replace humans in terms of like we win at the end of the day. We win everything. I don't give a fuck. I know iRobot was made. All this shit was made. All these movies were made to say, oh, robots are going to take over the world. But we ultimately win because they might be smart. They might be, you know, programmed to do all this shit. But we have
The shutdown button.
we have the shutdown button.
Yeah,
but we also have that. We also have that like that ability to think on the spot. And if something isn't right for a certain reason, we can go, okay, well, what can we do different? When sometimes if, you know, like the chess piece, you were saying the broken finger, you know, like, you know, I mean, that's shit a human wouldn't fucking do.
But that's what I was going to say next is guess what? That thing is probably already fixed. They fixed that issue. That's how quick it moves and changes. It moves so quick that these mistakes happen in the initial stages, but then they fix them and it's not going to happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this stuff is
They'll get better.
quick.
Yeah.
It's quick. And I'm not saying like Jezza is saying like I think fucking next week this is gonna happen. I'm not even saying they're gonna implement universal basic income. I'm just saying something is gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. In the Amazon factory, they have C3PO robots doing this shit. The army and the military are testing those robots. Though when COVID was happening, you could see videos of China. What they have drones with speakers flying through the city saying stay inside, and then the robot dogs on the ground.
Yeah, that
walking.
shit is fucking wild.
Crazy,
to watch, man.
right? And that's the way that the future is going. And I'm saying if we can do this shit in some fields, there's no reason why it's not going to bleed over into other fields. And I feel like you guys, the only thing I'm trying to hammer home to you guys is how quick things happen. That's just the thing. You guys like to think it's slow, and because we've been alive for 20 years and whatever, and it's like a slow thing, but it's quick, man. It's quick, and it will continue to be quick. Like I said, that's probably already fixed. That chess piece is never going to happen again. They fixed the error, whatever happened, right? It gets better and better and better. It's like the Teslas, the cars with the motion, how they drive themselves. It gets better and better every year. And it's just going to keep going. And think about we're in 2023 now, 2030. It's just going to be crazy, the shit that we have available.
So,
you know what I mean?
if you were to try and guess, put a figure. I know it's rough. It's like a rhetorical thing. You can't really answer it. But in like 20 years, right? If you were to put a percentage on how many jobs are automated, robot controlled, if you would have a percentage on how many jobs were, what percentage?
A lot more than we probably think, even I think.
Just
I think
throw
like,
one. Throw one
think
out
about
there.
the year 2060, right? Like 2060 is going to be unrecognizable. Like, I don't know, just think about the AI stuff when it started coming out on TikTok. You saw the fake voices and shit, how it started off. Very robotic, like, hello, this is Joe Rogan. You can see, and then 4 weeks later, it's like, better and better, and this is just a normal novelty thing that's getting better and better by the week. It's literally by the week.
Answer the question.
I don't know. I can't put a percentage because I don't even know.
I reckon it's fun. I like even though we're off, I reckon it'll be less than 50%. Definitely. I reckon 35,
by
40%.
what year? What year did you say?
I reckon 20 years it'll be like 35,
No.
40% of jobs are fully, I'm talking not
Okay, that's a pretty good guess. Actually.
fully, like as in like not, oh yeah, we do have robots here, but we,
Yeah, nah.
I reckon 30, 40%.
My guess is in 20 years,
That's a pretty good guess.
I reckon, honestly, no more than 15%, if less.
Okay.
That I'm talking fully, like where you have no...
You walk in, there's no humans.
I'm talking like the only human is... There has to be a human supervisor.
To lock
There's
up
not going to
and-
be a robot.
No,
It's not
no.
like Star Wars going, okay,
Well,
guys, lunch break at 10 o'clock.
Actually,
Like, no.
In Japan, they have the stores where there's no one in them. They go in and it's all automated. They buy their own shit. They grab the shit. There's no one at all.
That's fucked. That
in Japan,
can't be possible.
That exists in Japan. You can look at it. It existed for years in Japan. The little like 7-Eleven shops. You walk in, there's no one there. You grab the shit, you scan it yourself, you do it yourself. There's no one in there.
Yeah, it's
Who
funny.
locks up?
How does security,
closes the-
security work there?
Yeah.
Like,
But the
does
cult-
the, does the
that
robot just
wouldn't work here.
pull out a bat and just beat the fuck out of you?
Yeah, imagine that you steal and there's an iRobot security guard. Hey, stay there.
It pops out 8 arms like General Grievous. Eight bats and starts gobbles the fuck out of you.
Turrets on the roof. But that
Yeah, I just want to steal a packet of chips. What the fuck?
Japan is a different culture though, so that wouldn't work here. But that's just an example of like it's possible.
Yeah, like
it's
their
possible.
robots would be like, oh, stay there. Like, hey, who goes there? Stop. No, sorry, that's sorry. I have to pull out one. I feel like each episode I've got to pull out one racial like slur that's, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Racist joke.
It's questionable.
I'm very low on my battery, sir.
yeah, you need to charge me. I'm
Would they give themselves accents, or would they speak perfect English, like westernized as English?
Nah, it'd be like, you know how people have, do you know how people in movies, they go, like, to like not let them know it's their voice, they go, I want you to go here. I
It'd be like that.
reckon they'd have like a normal
Yeah.
robotic voice. It would be more offensive.
If they had their own accents, you walk in, it's like. The robot was like, hello, sir.
All the Aussie ones, you walk into some lounge, like,
G'day,
how you
mate.
going, mate?
Yeah. Good day.
Okay, so you're a believer that's not.
I think it's max 30-40%. And I don't want it to be, I want more humans and like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like that the Teslas and the auto drives. Even then, I wouldn't trust the auto drive. I'd use it. But like back when they first started inventing it, I'd be like, oh, I'd go for a nap. But no, I don't. I can't trust it 100%. And that's where I think the only downfall is with a lot of that. But like DZ said, things move fast, but also it feels slow. But it's like when you look back in, like he said, decades and decades, it does get scarily. But it's like, at what point is the ceiling? Because there needs to be a ceiling. Even Elon, you said Elon went in and he was discussing the discrepancies and the dangers of AI.
Line, yeah.
So there is a line. It's about when you reach that line, not to exceed that too far where it causes more danger than good. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you that there's no reason why in the far, far future, Earth looks like Futurama. Legit. Maybe without the aliens and shit, but like
You are sentenced to death by Shmoo.
In terms of the technology they have in that show, a lot of it, like scientists and stuff, have said that Futurama is like a pretty good, like, of how Earth could possibly look in the future. Because in terms of like the suicide booths, even in Futurama, people say that even look now,
They've got them in Switzerland and shit, don't they?
people back in the day used to live till 30. Now we live till 90, 100 if you're lucky, right? So that a lot of scientists in the medical field, they say in the future, even in our lifetime, that they will have to have these sort of suicide booths because medicine will be so good you could essentially live forever. You know what I mean? And that's like...
That's fucking crazy to think about.
But if you think about what we can do now...
You've lived too long. It's like, oh, well, we basically got a portaloo for you to go off yourself. Like,
But you think about what we have now with medicine and think about why in 20, 50 years, our lifetime, it wouldn't be so much better. Think about what they can do, man. Even a Panadol. How can you take a little pill, a little tablet, and it targets pain? And this shit we can do with medicine is unbelievable.
And it works good. You pop 2 Panadol,
man.
you got a bit of a headache.
It's gone. You know what I mean?
pop.
It's crazy.
Thank you.
So I'm just saying, I'm being devil's advocate. Like, I think the future is going to be crazy. And and I'm just saying off my experience and what I see and how I see life progress. It's just natural progression.
So when the world's burning down around us and robots are going, and DZ's going to be sitting there going, I told you so.
Look, I don't know when, how, or why. I just tell you what I believe is kind of the way things are going to go. I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't know, but
But at the end of the day, I'm like, it's fun to speculate and I like these conversations are fun to have.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. It's like you take it with a grain of salt, but also there's some truth to it. But it's like it's fun to it's like in conspiracies. I love that shit. You know what I mean? But I love it to a certain point. But that's the thing. I need to be like half in. Like that could happen.
half out.
I can't be like go.
You need healthy skepticism. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it, man.
Do we have any other speak pipes?
No, that was it. So thank you, Commie, man. You're holding it down, bro.
Fucking love you, bro.
You might be the new
Fucking
king
oath.
of the speak dicky, man. It
really
You
is.
might be the new king of the speak dicks. Go for some of your polls. We'll get the polls out the way.
They're
I was gonna say,
short.
before we go on, just to go back on the last 2 weeks of the commie. So there was one where he asked, "Have you tasted your own cum?" And then the next week, I believe he asked, "Have you ever jerked off onto your own belly?" And
I actually have
I was going to say,
go.
unfortunately, to inform you boys, I'm like, I've done both.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
there you
so
go.
and did it taste like dirty coins?
So let's start with the lesser of two evils.
Wait, how did you taste- okay.
So jerking off onto your own belly, not on purpose.
Easy mistake.
Sometimes you're laying on your back, you're jerking off. You don't get the tissues there in time, or you realize that you did. You realize that you haven't set up a landing pad properly. I'm like, and you're like, boom. You're like, oh shit. I'm like, now I have to go for a shower. No. And bro, if you look at my chest, you don't want fucking come on.
Oh my god!
There's a forest in there, man. Anyway,
Holy.
so
It'll be like you put gel in your hair or something.
there's something about Mary. Is that hair gel?
Yeah. Do you style your like snail trail
Holy.
Oh my god.
And then you tasted it?
and tasted it?
Yeah, just one time, I know with the next or whatever, she's just like, just try it. I'm like, just went like that off her tit and just try it. And I was like,
okay, I'm not mad.
It's just like salty and kind of metallic. I guess rusty coins, right?
Rusty coins.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow. See, I like a man who's willing to admit on a podcast.
Hey, it's your own. It's from your body.
Yeah, I'm like, exactly.
It's,
It's
not
like,
the
it's from me. I'm like,
Yeah.
look.
Whereas if I was to stand over you and be like, oh, taste this.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's a big
I'm like,
difference.
Your head pulled down.
I'll be swinging at your ass. I'm like, but yeah, if it's mine and shit, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, if other people were fucking swallowing it, I'm like, then I guess it's
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I probably owe it to them to try it myself, right?
Exactly. Because like I was saying on that podcast, a girl, like not every girl, because some girls, spit, some girls swallow it, but a lot of girls out there meet a guy on a night out, the first night as well. Don't know this guy. And just at the end of the night, it goes from like, "Hey, I'm Jenica," to like, and you're like, and then you're wearing some cunt's load on it, and you're like. Oh, and it's like, it's so weird.
You gotta give it to him.
You don't know where he was yesterday. He could have came out the grass, a tall grass.
See, Raz is doing the right thing. He's tasting his own supply, and he's like, I need more pineapple in my diet. I need more. Which I don't know if that actually works or if that's a fallacy, because, like I said, I eat pretty healthy, and I'm like, But with that belly button shit, it was funny. As my mate told me a story where he was having sex with this girl, reverse cowgirl, and she was obviously facing away from him as you do, and then when she was like bouncing, he was going to come, and then she was like, he told her, he's like, because he wasn't wearing protection, he's like, I'm going to come, and then as soon as she hopped off, his dick went and it went on his shoulder and on his neck. So he was like this. He literally was like, oh, and he said he was sitting there like someone else had done it to him. Like he was like, oh, and he's like, oh my god. And she started cracking up. And he's like, pass me a towel. And she's like, no, go fuck yourself. Just joking. So she left him on the bed for like 2 minutes, and he was like. He had all his cum on him. He's like, oh. So he had to get up and run to the toilet.
Oh my god.
Man, I wish I had a story like that, man. I've got nothing, eh? Like,
Yeah, me neither, man.
man, God.
Yeah, well, there you go, Commie. Give it a try.
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
It's not that bad.
Commie already sounds like he's already tried it, but he's being like, hey, have you ever tasted your own cum? I feel like if you're putting that question out there, you just want someone to relate to you. So now
No, bro.
He's asking for a friend, right?
Yeah. Asking for a mate.
The funny cunt last week goes, yeah, man, there was this podcast I was listening to. The guy on it is famously gay, and I don't recommend the podcast. I was just bored, and I was like, he goes, that's where he got the question from. Because the gay guy said that he tasted his own shit.
Yeah.
I was like, he's famously gay, and I don't recommend the pod. A fucking funny cunt, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for the story, man.
On to less intense questions. I said I'll go through that one. I'll do the poll first.
I think I was very comfortable talking about that. I don't think that was intense at all. Is that troubling? I'm like,
I was going to say, I can keep going if you want.
Just curiously, a lot of these polls I do these days are just out of curiosity. I said, what's your favorite fruit? You can only do 4 answers, by the way. I said apple/banana, strawberry, orange, mandarin,
Rusty
or watermelon. And shout out Mr. Meagley, he said tangerine should be an option. I don't even know.
Of course.
Tangerine.
I'm telling you, Mikey's just saying that because he's had a tangerine 2 weeks ago, and he's like, oh, tangerine. 100%, bro.
He's
Come
actually
on.
not eating tangerine.
I want, Mikey, send me a picture of your fruit bowl, and I want to count how many tangerines you have in that. There's not one tangerine.
Apple banana got 10 votes. Strawberry got 4 votes. Orange/mandarin got 2 votes, and watermelon 3. I think watermelon's probably good. Watermelon, you don't eat it often, but every time you do eat it often, you're like, fuck.
You forget how good it is, yeah.
No offense, but they're kind of all lame fruits that you picked there, bro.
Yeah, I know, pretty basic. But what would you...
Orange for me.
I
love an orange.
But what's
man.
a not lame fruit that you would...
Like fucking lychee, mango,
lychee. See, but
dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit's good.
Passion
dragon fruit in a shake, like in like calorie shakes. Dragon fruit is pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
I do pineapple. I do mandarins. I love but a good mandarin. Mandarin or mandarin?
Mandarin.
Either other.
But mandarins, because when you get a good mandarin where the skin is like separated from the actual mandarin because it's got air pockets because it's ready. But when you get that shit mandarin, when you peel it and the skin is sticking to it. But when you get a good mandarin, pineapple, passion fruit, like just scooping that motherfucker, and oranges.
Yeah, geez, there's a lot of fruits. I tried to do some like fruits that people would more common fruit.
I mean, no, that is the more common.
I don't eat much fruit at all, but I was just what's your favorite fruit?
like a fat steak.
I love steak. Right off the vine. Yeah. Steak right off the vine.
Or actually,
Straight off the
actually,
vine.
raspberries they slap as well.
Hey,
Strawberries,
fucking
man.
oats.
Strawberries. You,
Raspberries.
Yeah.
way
Dip 'em in
better
sugar.
than strawberry.
Oh yeah,
or
or
you
just chocolate.
You just fucking blow a load on the berry and just.
Yeah, you know, Raz has got those for days. You go to Raz's place and it's got strawberries, but instead of hardened chocolate, it's just white glaze.
It's white chocolate.
You're like, what's that?
Hey, before we continue, this fucking genius here showed me to an invention I've never heard of in my fucking life for a dessert. And I couldn't believe my eyes and what I was tasting. So I went to Razz's and Jimmy's joint for dinner, right? Beautiful feed as always when you go to these guys' house.
Always.
Right? And then Raz goes, yeah, so for dessert, there's this thing that I do. I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, you get a fucking cinnamon donut, you press it in the sandwich press, and then you put ice cream and maple syrup.
Yeah, less is more, man.
And I was like, hold on a second. I've never ever had that three. I
Those
love
three
all
combos.
three,
Yeah.
but I've never had them together.
And is this thing when you bring it out?
Bro.
Is it how thin is the donut when you're finished with it?
Well,
How
if
thin?
you've got a good sandwich press, like the one we've got, like the plates don't press together heaps well, and she like it's kind of a jaffle. You know what I mean? Like, but you get a proper sandwich press, like you press them like pretty fucking flat,
goes,
man.
bro.
But what it does is it caramelizes all of the cinnamon sugar and stuff like that, and then it's hot and it's crispy on the outside but fluffy on the inside. Scoop of vanilla ice cream,
And
got to
maple
be
syrup.
vanilla, and then maple syrup. all
Bro.
over the top.
Are
sounds
you
awesome.
a one scoop or a two scoop guy?
Oh, look, you just like you match the scoop to the donut.
Yeah. You can't have a small donut with three
Yeah.
fucking ice
There
cream.
needs to be the
That
right
sounds
ratio.
good, man. And
I
that's
tell you,
easy to do too.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, it was like a science experiment that I've just seen, and I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Chloe, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what you're gonna start doing.
Yeah.
What do I gotta fucking do with you? I'm like, no, this is what you're doing. Three simple things.
It is-
I've
it is a-
never thought
yeah.
of putting them together.
And easy to whip up. You just press
saying.
it, scoop.
Sounds good.
I couldn't believe it. So, guys,
I'll try that.
Try it. Cinnamon donut, ice cream, maple syrup. You fucking press the donut in a fucking sandwich press. If you don't have fucking ice cream, you just fucking jack a load onto it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Ask Raz for some supplies if
Yes.
you're running out. If you've already jerked off today and you don't have enough, Raz has got plenty
I'll
in the
tell you
tank.
next week my experience because I'll definitely do
Unbelievable,
that. That
mate.
sounds awesome.
But anyway, sorry, keep going. Keep
Then
going.
the question asked because greatest rapper of all time, the age old question. Because I think I have my answer for once. I've been asked this question a lot. I think I have my answer, but I'll go for you guys' answers. Pierce, shout out you, bro. Thanks for coming to the show. He says DZ.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Of course,
Fucking
you're
kiss-
not wrong.
you kiss
He
ass.
also says and verse Sydney City. Yeah, Verse was at the show.
Oh, yeah,
fucking legend.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
good.
shout out Verse, man.
Shout out you, baby.
Holloway also says DZ. Thank you, brother. Zexa says has to be Eminem or Tupac, but Tech 9 is really slept on, and Lil Wayne needs his flowers. Yep, all good, solid choices. 209K says Ice Cube. That's a pretty old school choice,
Yeah,
interesting choice.
yeah.
Carl Whitehill says Eminem, and then Megalodon also says Eminem undeniably.
It's got to be Eminem. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's the most cliche answer,
Yeah,
but
it
he.
is.
I completely agree. That's my pick for best.
I feel like, you know what it is? It's young people, right? Like my brother-in-law, right? Fuck you. He goes, well, Eminem's not even good. It's because the
Yeah, young man.
the young people like to think they're cool, but if you actually put the skill set,
And the resume.
you put Eminem against any rapper,
He sleeps
dead
them.
or alive,
Yeah, a diss. Any
he
diss.
will fucking sleep him.
Yep. MGK tried to diss him, which was for publicity, no
Yes.
doubt, but kills him.
Killed him.
Mariah Carey back in the day, the
Killed
warning
her.
shot, killed her.
Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Killed
Ja
him on
Rule.
multiple
Bro, I
fucking
love the
songs.
Ja Rule disses is some of the
Bro.
best music. Aha, you do that motherfucker.
oh,
Bro, that shit was
man.
so good. But I would say, and Eminem would agree with me, yeah. King Crooked. Crooked Eye. You guys listen to this motherfucker?
Is that
He's
that young?
so
Is that
clever.
the young guy that he's
No,
making?
he's not young.
No,
he's
he's-
old. He's been with Eminem for a long time. Bro.
Yeah.
He's got a beard.
Well, I haven't
cigar.
heard of him. How good is he?
He's good, man. I love some of his bars. He's got
Yeah.
so many bars. Everything he said, every time I listen to him, I'm reminded, and we're in the car, and I'm like to my missus, like, fuck, this guy's good, man. King Crooked, he's so good, man.
How come he's not well known?
It's just, he's very bar heavy and stuff. It's not so, the music's
I
not
like
so,
bar heavy
yeah.
shit, so I'll probably like
King
him.
Crooked, you'd like him a
Yeah.
lot. He says, I love some of his bars. He's got, so like when you listen a couple times, he's like Eminem. That's why he rolls with Eminem and shit. Because, he says, there's one thing he goes, I hit the streets like I never ate. You 6 feet, I'm 11'8". In the song Adrenaline, he features on it with Recognize. You 6 feet, I'm 11'8". So everyone says, you know, like they feel so big. You're 6 feet tall. He's 11'8".
11'8".
His height, I googled it. His height is like 5'9" or something, right? So yeah, you're 6 feet. You're 6 feet in the dirt,
Oh,
and
he's 6
compared to
feet
your
plus
6
5'9".
feet, you're 11. He's 11'8". So 6 feet plus his height.
Yeah.
Super
Now,
clever.
he says another one. He's
Okay.
like, sleeping on a renegade, quickest way you can get awake. So sleeping on a renegade.
Yeah.
He's a renegade. You're sleeping on him.
Yeah.
Quickest way you can get awake. You get awake after your funeral, right? When you die.
Okay, yeah.
But sleeping on a renegade, you're sleeping on him. That's the quickest way you can get awake.
Yeah, okay.
Get awake from
Okay.
sleeping.
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
awake.
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
you-
God
I'm
damn.
like, listen, I'm
When-
like, bro, this guy's
Yeah.
crazy.
When people can use bars and they mean more than one meaning, and it's like a what's it called? Is it double entendre?
yeah.
It's so clever. For me, it's got to be Eminem up there with, and this is just like top three. I know one hasn't been that active, but it's got to be Eminem, not in a row, but not in order, just the top three for me. Eminem, J. Cole, Kendrick. That's me personally. But Kendrick is so big now. That cunt makes one song every 3 years and he's like on an island somewhere. But like Kendrick, bro, what the fuck? Kendrick, as if it's not J. Cole, Kendrick, and fucking Eminem. Now, in terms of big artists right now, fucking Bad Bunny, Drake, Taylor Swift. In terms of big artists, like popularity and like ballin'. But even J. Cole, how hasn't anyone said J. Cole?
There's a different. There's a.
But when I
big
say rapper,
difference.
not lyricism, Eminem. But don't you think he's in the? Not he's different, but don't you think he's in the top
I
five?
like J. Cole a lot. I like Kendrick too. But there's a big difference. I feel like a misconception. A big difference between rapping, being a good
Yeah,
rapper,
yeah,
and
yeah.
making good music.
Yeah, true.
Good music
that's the
and being a
point.
good rapper.
Well, there's Eminem standalone then for me.
Making good music is pretty, you know, subjective. But being a good rapper is objective. And people don't understand this, man. Rapping is a skill like anything. And you can tell it's about your bars. It's about your rhyme scheme. That's good rapping. Whether it sounds good. A lot of people listen to Eminem, the young kids, and they don't like it because of his flow.
Yeah.
You can kind of, sometimes Eminem will do that offbeat kind of
Yeah.
choppy flow. And kids listen to it and it doesn't sound as sonically good to your ears.
Yeah.
But if you listen to what he's saying,
But
the
a lot of people can't
rapping-
keep up.
The rapping is undeniably top quality. You know what I mean?
How technical is what he's actually doing? I'm like, if you're rapping in off beats and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'm like,
But he
that's-
fits
it's
so many
incredibly
syllables.
hard to do.
It's a skill set.
What's
Yeah,
your
exactly.
top three? So we know Eminem's in there.
Definitely Eminem. I'm like, you got to throw Jay-Z in there. I'm
Jay-Z,
like,
man.
One,
Pop
he's
pioneer.
he's got a fucking smooth ass flow, man,
Yeah.
and he barely ever wrote down any of the fucking songs. Like, think about how many songs that motherfucker has. Barely wrote down lyrics for like any of them. He just
Freestyled all
all
of them.
that shit is just memorized. He'd sit there and listen to the beat and just come up with
And
shit
then
in his
just
head, and then
I
just
I
fucking,
don't know
and then
how
throw-
much
and
I
then throw it
believe
straight
that.
down.
I don't know how much I believe that.
No.
I know Jay-Z. I don't know why I forgot about Jay-Z. Maybe because he's more Illuminati, killing children and like wiping, and drinking baby blood. Now with him and Beyonce sitting on a crown full of baby fucking bones. But he was a pioneer, and he was he lifted Kanye up. He got Kanye to help him to get as big as he was.
Yeah.
he was like the pioneer. I can't even put it any plainly than that.
Jay-Z's a respectable answer.
Yeah.
Who's your third?
Probably a guy that none of you are gonna know, Lee Scott. He's
Haven't heard of
he's
him.
like an underground like UK rapper.
Yeah, okay.
He owns a record called Blah Records.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's like a whole collective of them. They call themselves Cult, Cult Mountain and stuff like that. And they've got they built a whole label and stuff like that.
okay.
And he's fucking excellent.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
Just
love
got-
the UK shit. Man.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll put you onto a few bits and pieces and see,
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
if you
man.
like it.
I do some research on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
and the last question I said was, your worst public transport experience. Well, Joey
Joey just fucking
a little
explained
bit,
his
yeah.
one.
If he had a car, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
so
Jesus
if
Christ.
he had a license, sorry, that wouldn't happen. Zexa says, was stuck on a train in the city due to flooding of the tracks and could not get back. Mum says, being groped on the bus in Uruguay and putting up with the BO.
Jesus.
Aussie slang says, fainted on the train and landed on a group of people.
Shit.
I bet it was just a hot girl and he's like,
It's funny because
It doesn't count when the girl's a double D breast and you're like, oh.
you get no further explanation. They only get like fucking 10 words. Megalodon says, when the school bus crashed into the river and I had to drag it out. Oh no, he goes. He goes
wait, what? He lifted up the school bus?
They're
incredible.
He goes, wait, that was Superman. So he's joking.
fucking
And then,
hell.
and that's it. I was expecting some stories like Joey's. That's
Yeah,
what I meant.
yeah,
like,
nah.
you know,
Come
any
on,
jokey,
guys,
crazy-
up your fucking game, bro.
God damn,
But
man.
any crazy public transport experience? Nothing?
Honestly, pretty lame because I don't really recall any anyway. Never really.
Me neither, man. Don't catch it much.
Kind of got lucky through most of my life. I'm like trouble never found me. For the most
That's
part.
good.
So
I feel like I'm always like I'm always like I'm not.
You're
like,
just there.
Yeah,
You're
like
there.
I'm always get caught in it, and it's like when you're. Do you know when you have a face when people just like either they want to come up and talk to you, the weirdos, they're like, hey, or maybe because I just attract. I don't know. I'm not like snobby or anything, but yeah, some people they're just like, oh, you can't approach them. Maybe I'm too approachable.
No, you've
but
got a very friendly
always
energy, man, right?
I always find they just sit over next to me. Like there's a seat, and they'll be like, we're sitting there, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, and because I don't want to be a rude cunt, I'll entertain it.
You entertain it,
and they just keep going, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know. I feel like I have so many stories I can't even remember now, but so many stories in my life I can recall telling people these stories. And public transport, I've caught public transport for a lot of time in my life as an apprentice and stuff. And so many times I'll be like, oh, this happened today and blah, blah, blah. And I'd always go to family dinner on the Sunday with something new to say. And my family's always like, why do you find yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. I try to it's almost like I try to remove myself, but it's like the weirdos are like, I'm here. And the weirdos are like, hey, they just follow me. And I'm like, fuck off.
Well, do you have any points that you wanted to bring up?
Wait, let me have a little squeezy. Raz, did you have any points?
I kind of addressed a few of them already.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
like a few little bits and pieces.
Really quickly, like to jump in, I've been watching on Netflix, me and the missus, I've been watching the new documentary. It's called Life on Our Planet, and Morgan Freeman is the narrator.
Yep.
And it's amazing, bro. It shows way before the dinosaurs, like 600 million years ago. And it goes from there when like saber-toothed tigers, before the Ice Age, all this shit. It's obviously a lot heavy CGI. But it shows you like on a massive timeline, it will go all the way back
That's
to like
pretty
the
cool.
dawn of time. And you'll go through who was the predators, the top dogs. And there were so many like cataclysmic events that we've said on the podcast heaps. And it proves that because it's like the first cataclysmic event, or one of, I don't know if it was the first, so don't fucking, all these TikTok cunts just be like, come after me. But one of the cataclysmic events was volcanoes that erupted. Oh, sorry, first were all Pangea. Do you know how it was all just one?
one continent.
And then there was
Penguins.
yeah. And then there was a meteor that ended up wiping out the dinosaurs that hit so hard it created a 20-kilometer hole in the earth. 20 kilometers deep. Not wide. 20 kilometers deep. And then it literally succumbed the whole earth. And even if it didn't reach around the whole earth, the dust it caused and all the into the air, the
Blocked out the
pollution,
sun, yeah.
blocked out the sun, killed plants, killed people, people in the sea, killed animals in the sea, everywhere, right? Then it takes you through all to the next cataclysmic event, which was volcanoes. And volcanoes were erupting on such a massive proportion, right, that it went, sprayed lava in the air, burnt everything in its path, and then because of the chemicals that the I don't know, like the chemical compounds, whatever that lava produces on such a high scale, it turned the rain into acid rain.
rain, yeah.
So then it killed all the plants, it killed everything in the sea because now the sea was full of acid. So literally, like every cataclysmic event, it wiped out over 90% of all living things. So there was like, all of a sudden there was like this, the creatures, it always is the creatures that burrows beneath the surface that survives, and they'll come out, and then now they're the top dog until obviously they're not. Like, you know what I mean? Like another top dog always comes, and it's almost like, we've said this before, so it's like no new news, but just seeing that in a scientific thing where Morgan Freeman's like, and then after 450 million years. And then for some reason, when Morgan Freeman tells you something, you're like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'm all in, bro. Yeah. So and yeah, there was volcanoes, and then there was like earthquakes. There's always something that just resets. But like,
And we're still here.
I was saying to Tori, imagine if there wasn't a cataclysmic event and dinosaurs just weren't, because you know how dinosaurs, they're just birds now.
Yeah.
Like birds
Crocodiles.
birds are descendants
Sharks.
from dinosaurs. Like, you know what I mean? But imagine if like, and crocodiles, sharks, which by the way, sharks have been here before trees, baffles the fuck out of me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Crocodiles have formed, back in the day, it shows it in this, crocodiles used to have shorter snouts. And then as they aged and they adapted, they just changed, and then their snouts grew for whatever reason, maybe because everything evolves to suit their environment.
Yeah, 100%.
So if they got attackers that are always coming from above, they'll either I don't know, develop a hard exterior shell on the back. You know what I mean? Like
camouflage or something like that.
And then they would show centipedes, right, that were about 7 meters long and 1.5 meters wide. Centipedes. So the centipedes going, like that's like the size of a snake now. You know what I mean? And it's just nuts, bro. You need to get onto it, bro. It's called Life on Our Planet. Morgan Freeman is the narrator. It's pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool.
Jesus Christ.
Definitely check that out.
I've got a couple of little things just to rattle the brain a little bit. So we've got 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Then we've got neither medicine nor science has an answer for what consciousness is or where it originates. Right?
That's the beauty about it, Mark.
And the last one for our little Indian listeners. In India, in the early 2000s, there was a creature called the Monkey Man who was attacking people living in Delhi, and people were so terrified of him that they stopped sleeping at night so they could stay up and protect their homes and their families. We still don't know to this day whether it was even real or just a rumor that people started believing in.
It was probably just a savage monkey. I saw actually that monkeys in Bali have learnt that if they steal tourist phones, they will hold them for ransom until they give them food because people love their phone so much. Like, please give me the phone, and the monkey's like, until you give it some food.
Yeah, I heard that as well, bro. Yeah, because they steal caps. People say don't wear hats when you go into the monkey sanctuary. Did I tell you my monkey sanctuary experience? I got it on video on my phone, but I can't be bothered. But I had a 1.5 litre bottle of water, and we're sitting there, and then the guys go around because the guys that work there, they feed them and stuff, and they feed them sweet potato, starchy things, and they have different feeding troughs where they all go to feed. But then when they really want some action, they go, oh, there's a lot of people here, we need to get the monkeys out. They go tick, 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 tick. They hit their sticks and shit, and they call out in like this or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just see like they come from everywhere, right? I'm sitting there with my 1.5 litre bottle of water, and they say when they come onto you, they say don't make direct eye contact with them for too long because they take
it as a challenge,
right? So this big monkey, this big fucking behemoth comes up to me, and he just not staunches, but he sits up and he's like, and I'm like, oh, so I'm like looking away, like I've done something wrong. So I'm having my bottle of water, and I'm like, whatever. And all of a sudden, he jumps on my lap, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing weighs like, I don't know, over 5 kilos at least, which isn't much, but when that thing's sitting on your lap, oh my God, it starts fucking with my water bottle. Say this is my water, it's like, and I've got the water bottle lid on, and he's like trying to, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? And because I didn't screw it on properly, he's got the cunt undone with his mouth, gone. He's fighting me for this bottle of water, right? and I have a bottle of water that's half full. I need my hydration, guys. So I'm like, no, I don't want to give up this fucking bottle. So I'm like this, and he takes it. I let him go, and he goes, fucking going off, and he's trying to drink the puddle and shit. And then all amazed is like, I mean, my Tori and Sarah, our other few friends, were just laughing, and I'm like, all these people just laughing, like what the fuck, man? And I'm like, oh fuck. So then I'm like, I guess that's his bottle now, and he just fucking takes off with the bottle.
Monkeys are crazy, man. They're fucking scary.
God damn, bro.
And people say that the rule is there, if you lose something, it's kind of on you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you have to keep your valuables close.
The gangsters and shit, they train the monkeys. They're wearing like little jackets and shirts and shit. They come down, they full do the drug deals for them and shit. The monkeys take the fucking shit, and like, it's
if
crazy,
I was a monkey,
dude.
I'd want to come back as that monkey.
Like Apu out of fucking Aladdin. I'm like, he does all the mischief and shit like that. You'll send that little fucker in.
It's pretty crazy though. Like, they're so smart and like us, man. They can do everything we can do.
You got any points, my man?
I think we should cover, because we spoke about it quite a bit last episode. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg quitting smoke.
I wanted to touch on that as well. I don't believe that at all. If that guy can quit weed,
didn't you see it?
I did.
But did you see that it was a marketing thing for a smokeless fire pit? It came out.
That motherfucker.
Conor McGregor owns that fire pit brand.
Oh, it does?
So they got to, like, Snoop was at the Black Forge Inn or whatever, like a few months ago. There's like Conor put up photos of them smoking weed and shit together, and then like they pulled this made this publicity stunt where Snoop's gonna give up, and then he's like, nah.
I didn't know.
They took the smoke out of the fire pit, and Connor's like, I own that shit.
That's why Connor announced it on Twitter.
How does that work? How does one have to do anything to do with the other? How does him coming out saying I've quit weed? How does that have anything to do?
He said quit smoke, and he made like a big dramatic post. He's quitting smoke. Everyone thinks he must be quitting weed, and it's like Snoop Dogg. Everyone's talking about it, and then like a couple days later, he came out with the ad, and it's a smokeless fire pit. It looks cool.
It looks
cool. It looks cool as fuck.
So did Conor McGregor make it?
I believe so.
He must have a big stake in it.
I saw him comment on Snoop's post saying, "Aha, we got him, bro, and I own this shit." Like he said, I'm the owner.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
of course, Conor has to flex like that. That motherfucker.
Because Conor put on Twitter, he did like a voice post saying Snoop Dogg's quitting, and he broke the news, and I was like, it's so weird. Why is Conor McGregor breaking the news?
He's the first person to announce it, and then Snoop's like, yeah, I'm quitting the smoke, man.
That's genius, though.
Because there was a meme on going around of Snoop about a week later, and it's like a month after quitting ZAZZ, and it's Snoop with like just gotten up out of bed, and he's like looking rough as guts, like you said there, a month after, so saying like he's like quit, and this is his withdrawal symptoms, and I'm like, but I didn't believe it. I didn't know it was for a marketing campaign, but I looked at that and said, false.
Yeah.
False. That
100%.
guy has been too hard in the paint for weed to go. You know what I mean? Like
he'd actually have withdrawals and shit.
Oh,
you'd be like,
he wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah, you'd be sweating. Hot and cold fucking flu.
Another point I had written down, which I think you might. Did you have any other points that you haven't touched on? We'll go through those if you got anything you want to bring up.
Not necessarily. I can't remember what I fucking wrote down here now. I just had fucking a couple of shitty ones. Like one was just like top 3 favorite animals. I wanted to know what you guys.
Yeah, why not? Nothing.
I just went to the zoo. That's a good.
Go. So what is it? Top 3 animals?
Yeah.
What are yours first?
What are yours?
Dog. Above all,
classic
else.
answer.
I'm like, it's the most fucking personable animal. I'm like, it is man's best friend. Second of all, chameleon.
Yep.
Coolest animal on the planet. Camouflage their skin. I'm like, their eyes can move independently, 360 degree view. The way they fucking move.
That is a cool animal.
They shoot their fucking sticky tongues and shit. Cool as fuck animal. Third, horse. Majestic.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, majestic, noble beast.
Get around on the horse.
I've always been like a sucker for gorillas. Just gorillas fascinate the fuck out of me. I know they're more primitive creatures, but just like gorillas, knowing that they're like subhuman,
So similar to us.
so similar but so not, and super strong, like the Hulk, like a hairy Hulk. So it's got to be gorillas for me, and they can show. Not as much as dogs, obviously, but they can show
compassion,
somewhat human, like the fact that chimps can get jealous, something like that, or like, you know what I mean, like monkeys in general, are just fucking
similar emotions.
But so yeah, gorilla for me. I would go. Oh fuck! You took the chameleon, bro. That chameleon.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer, bro.
Underrated.
I would go. I don't know, man. You go.
All right, my first two are very, very generic. So it's the lion, the wolf, and then probably like a capybara.
Yeah,
Well, because
capybaras.
capybaras just make me fucking laugh. Lions and wolves, again, I just love the whole lion mentality, you know. The male does fuck all. The women hunt for him. The male eats first. But if the male's got to fight, man, he's there. Like, he's ready. And then I love the wolf for how organized. The wolf pack's like a mafia. They're very organized. So even when they just walk, you got the old people at the front, the old wolves, they follow the pace of them. The strong males at the back, watching the flanks, protecting the young and the women in the middle. And it's just like such an organized, it's just like dogs, but just super organized.
It's like a battalion,
Yes.
like strategically planned out and stuff like that. And
love that shit.
The alpha will always get the liver as well because it's the most nutritious part of any animal.
Yes, exactly. I love that shit, bro. What are yours?
Very cool. I like the octopus, man. I think the octopus is my favorite.
yeah.
It's so
Good
smart.
answer.
It's an
alien
bro.
motherfucker,
Alien,
bro.
dude. Everything the chameleons got and fucking more, man. The camouflage, they turn their shape into different things. They look fucking crazy. They fit through a tiny little hole. Nuts. Then I like hippos. Love hippos, man. Hippos are cool as fuck.
Brutal motherfuckers.
Just crazy. The mouth, the fucking big beast, dirty fucking. And I don't know. Third, I used to like rhinos too. Similar for the hippo though. I just like the big tanks, man. Like the big tank. Even in video games, like I'm always a tank class. And you come with the hammer, the slow guy. Fucking
You're never picking Yoshi. You're always picking Bowser.
I am always picking Bowser. That's it. Literally, like
And just going off the octopus, did you know, fun fact, that when the female octopus, I'm not sure if this goes off all octopi, right? But
Octopussies?
Octopussies. But like, I don't know if it goes across all, but I know that this doco I was watching, the female octopus, she only mates once in her life. Like, what a prude, right? What a holdout. all these like horny ass octopi going like, when the fuck this bitch gonna give me that pussy? No, but like,
What a holdout, straight out.
She's like, she has sex. She has sex, and for the first time she has sex, almost like a woman after the first time they have sex. They're very like, you know, fragile, not fragile, but very like, I guess, well, that just happened. What she retreats, right? The octopus retreats under like camouflages and retreats under like nestles herself out of harm's way because she now knows that she has to. She's basically not hibernating, but essentially she'll stay there until after she has all these children,
She
right?
hatches all the eggs and then
Everything.
and then just stays there and will starve herself and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they
so
starve
this
themselves,
doco, they have to apparently, because all the babies are under her tentacles, right? And when she lifts her tentacles up in this doco, you can see all these little white eggs, right? And to make sure those babies get the best nutrition, best everything, right? Like a mother feeding a child, she always has to keep a filter on inside her, filtering the water. Kind of like when you're in an ice bath. Remember you're in an ice bath and they have to keep the water just going to keep the water moving? Because obviously if there's just stale water, there's no life in there. So she always has to suck in. She uses all the oxygen that she has at a slows her heart rate down like crazy and just filters water through the eggs. And she literally, like Raz just said, spends the rest of her life, which is not much. The rest of her life actually ends when her babies are like hatched. But she ends up taking her last breath for her children, then filters the water. And then right after the babies hatch, she dies.
Oh, shit.
So all the female octopus, they only get one octopi dick a year. In her whole life, sorry. So one, like, octopus have to be the most holdout animal in all of things.
But
like,
hey, wouldn't you be
most
hold out
conservative.
as well? It's like if I'm gonna die after I lose my virginity, I'm like, that better be one good octopus. That'd be the better.
Yeah, this black-
Better be the best.
this black octopus Latrell comes in. He's like, "Yo, man, you won't get this dick." And she's
It's like that octopus dick better be at least as long as all them tentacles are.
And then Latrell she gets excited and he keeps going. Then you just see the little, hello, I am king for your partner. It's tiny, like, fuck you, man.
Bro, yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting as, but yeah. So mine definitely was gorilla. I think octopus. Now that I think about it,
Yeah,
octopus,
cool, man.
But then I think maybe it's got to be tiger because tiger's got to
Yes.
be. Everyone goes on about the lion, but the tiger is the king of
the jungle,
and actually lives in the jungle. But the lions, although they're my bet is in majestic. There's there another majestic animal, wind blowing in their hair, gives Lion King vibes as well. You know, as we're growing up,
Yeah.
Lion King, lions. But they have a miserable, we said this before, they have a miserable ending to their life. Like when another alpha kicks them out, they end up dying and getting
Yeah,
like,
they just get
alone.
mange
They
and,
get
get,
neglected.
and starve and get
Yeah,
fucked up.
'cause-
I've seen those skinny ass lions that are on their deathbed.
yeah,
I'm like, sad as
because
fuck.
it's like us, we're pack animals and animals in general, they need to stay together. Even like water buffalo and shit. People that like the ones that get picked off easy, they survive better in packs because if they go off, they get fucking outnumbered. But the thing is, when you're a pack animal, when you fall victim to being prey all the time, like water buffalo, even if you are in a herd, if I was a water buffalo, you best believe I'm going in the center of that scrum. I'm not going on the outskirts getting grass. I'm going
right in the middle.
If Raz is a water buffalo, I'm moving him over to the side and I'm eating some grass over here. And I'm like, imagine being like a zebra or something when all your thing is, at least if you're a lion, you're like, I can fuck up more than enough people around me or animals enough. But if you're a water buffalo or something that's slow like a gazelle or something that's like a cheetah, right? If you're a gazelle and there's a cheetah about 100 meters away, you can run, but what's that?
Can't fight.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fucking painful existence, hey? It's like from the moment you're born, you live in fear until the day you get fucking snatched.
Yeah. And like I was watching the doco that I was talking about, the Morgan Freeman one, Komodo dragons eat their prey alive. So what they do is they get at them, like one foul swoop, they hope to injure them enough to where they can't walk. And then when they lose their limbs,
Their venom paralyzes them because it creates necrosis and actually starts to rot the flesh.
yes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so they do that, and then it shows apparently the Komodos know when there's prey because their tongue, like a snake tongue, they can smell or sense
smell and
vibrations
sense with the tongue,
So when there's one Komodo and there's an injured prey, apparently they all come and they go for the belly first. So they eat their belly first. So there's video on YouTube, everything of them disemboweling like animals like deer and shit, and they're like calling out like,
dude.
It's fucking brutal. Fucking oath.
But most animals in that regard will always go like either, like for example, like a bear like will take down like an elk or something like that, and before it's even dead, it will already start eating it through its ass. Animals like that, like same with when wolves and stuff like that, they'll eat you through your ass first because they know that the liver is the most nutritious part of the body.
Is that the quickest way to get to you?
So yeah, because the quickest way to get into the liver, so they'll eat you through your even a human. I'm like, imagine getting attacked. Like Americans are always like, oh, you guys got fucking snakes and spiders. I'm like, you guys have fucking
mountain lions,
you have real life monsters.
moose.
I'm like, imagine a grizzly bear, like fucking the Revenant style,
eating your ass,
fucking throwing you down, and while you're still alive and screaming, just fucking eating you through your asshole and sucking your organs out, fucking through your ass. Fuck that,
like a crusher straw.
Yeah, I would fucking step on a snake or a spider any day over that.
I always agree there.
We've said that before.
We've said it before. They get wigged out over the kangaroos and the insects and the snakes, but these motherfuckers are getting mauled by pumas on the Hollywood Walk and shit. Like, fuck
Do you know how many videos I've seen where they're on the porch and there's a bear on the fucking porch and they're filming? They're like, oh my God. Like, bro, we've never had that here, ever.
Or like the videos of people's dogs getting attacked by bears in the backyard and shit. Like, fuck that, bro. That's fucked up, man.
It's terrifying.
Want to talk about the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go over the show.
Let's go over the show.
It was pretty good. Turnout for Sunday was, wasn't the biggest turnout, but it was pretty better than I thought, man. Quite a few people. It was fun. Yeah, you did your thing on the decks. We played some new shit, some old shit. It was good, man.
How did you feel like it? How do you feel like the live shows? How do you think the live shows sound? Was it good acoustics in there? Like, some venues it could be like
it was awesome.
It's echoey. Was it good acoustics?
It was good acoustics. We went first though, so I mean, I wish we had gone second, at least second.
Yeah,
but we would have. I wish I could have. I would have turned my vocals up a little bit, told them to, fuck around a little bit. But it was good. The acoustics sounded good. It was awesome. It was great. The stage and just the venue itself was awesome.
Awesome venue. I'm very proud.
Where was it again?
Lazy Bones. Oh,
hello. Watch out she doesn't turn off the fucking.
Is this the first time that you have done like a set together?
Yes. A set together,
Our first hip hop,
wow. Okay, that's fucking sweet, man. Did you play any songs off the King's EP?
We played underwater.
Underwater.
Sick.
And
no kings or sharks.
Nah. Save it for another show.
Well, it was only a 20-minute set. We had a lot to, and the thing we did too, which no one else did, was so he was my DJ. Everyone else had just the DJ that was the guy, and what we did was we made specific live versions of the songs.
Yes.
So he remastered them, and we also
that's cool as fuck, man.
We cut the instrumentals into each other. So
it was like,
is that because they wouldn't sound the same as they do when you're listening to it on Spotify?
Yes. So it was basically a DJ set. It was like a live DJ set.
Yeah, you did a live, like when you see a DJ on a festival, it will either say DJ set or live set. You did a live set.
We done a live set.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, and I'm very proud and happy because I spoke to the boys. I said, look, honestly, how did it sound? And they were like, bro, they go, the quality of your guys' beats and shit. He goes, I don't know how you did it. They're like, the quality was unreal.
Who came?
And I asked multiple people too. I said, look, be honest, because like obviously I want it to sound good for the next time. I was like, look,
you want good feedback.
I was like, be honest. I don't care. Like, was it shit or not? And they were like, nah. They're like, bro, like your sub bass, your kicks, your snares. It was.
Did they have any constructive criticism, or
it was literally all just like it was unreal. So I'm very, very happy. So what we done in preparation wise, perfect. So we just got to keep doing that
with a longer set,
and hopefully, again, shout out to Bipolar and the boys for putting us on, man. Absolutely unreal,
shout out Bipolar,
unreal.
Verse, 1 out, all the dudes that came in, they all
20 verse. It was
who came out of the boys?
So shout out to Trip Bradley, Syph, which is Diamond, Mr. Meagley, Moby, Chloe for taking us in so we could have a couple of drinks, Aaron, Holloway, Pierce.
They came down from the Central Coast.
They came down all the way from the Central Coast.
So shout out to you boys.
Shout out to you boys.
On a Sunday.
I wish I could have been there, man.
Who else out of our group? Was it just the 8?
I think that's it, man. That was it.
Yeah, I don't want to forget anyone.
Yeah. Thank you everyone who came. It was a Sunday, man, so it was hard. So we expected, not many people to come, but a lot of you guys showed out, so thank you. It was fun. The venue was cool. We'll probably use that venue again, to be honest.
Yes.
For our own shit, man.
Because that venue does do events and stuff, so I'm thinking, obviously it wouldn't be until the new year.
Can you try and go a little later than the first, or do they decide where you go?
We'd have to talk to them, they I'm sure.
I feel like you aren't first cab out of the ranks kind of artists, though. I feel like you can't go first.
Yeah, no. But look, in their defense, we weren't supposed to be first.
Yeah, the guy before us pulled out.
The guy before us pulled out, and another one of the main acts pulled out. So that's why the first thing that one of the Bipolar lads said to me when I got there, he's like, "Did you bring any extra music by any chance?" And I was like, "Nah, bro." He goes, "Fuck." He goes, "I don't know what we're gonna do." He goes, "2 of them pulled out." And I was like, look, just chill, keep everything the same, and get your DJ just to spin. Get him just to spin for an hour, whatever. Like, it's fucking Sunday. It's not like it's a packed dance floor anyway. There was fucking literally no more than 30 people in there.
And shout out the DJ too, Lucian Black.
man.
He told me, I sent him some of our music. He said, send me some of your stuff from your label and I'll spin it. He's got like a radio show thing. So I sent him,
mad, bro. See, that's what it's all about, bro. Networking. Because you go to these events, right? And everyone thinks you go to these events and there's going to be like people out there going like, oh, I'm going to sign you to this label. Not necessarily, but it's like if you can get a DJ like you got to just spin your shit on their show. He has a show.
Yep. And they're from Perth too.
They're from Perth, bro. So it's the other side of fucking Australia. Like that's how you get shit out there. And then it leads you to the podcast. Then it leads you to, and like I said, podcasts now, I said earlier, podcasts are the best way nowadays to know people on more personal levels. So then when you do hear their shit, you feel like you know them a bit more, and you're like, oh, mad, like, rather than just hearing the music. But
it was good, man. Thank you for coming. Shout out Lazy Bones Lounge, good venue. I'm sure we'll use it again, man, because so far in Sydney, they seem like the best place to do anything, right? Because they do hip-hop. They know who we are now, so they'll, be more welcoming. Man, it was cool. It was cool.
It would be fun. Again, that's an email I will send out probably in January. We've got a lot of weddings and shit. We need to get the fuck out the way, Christmas presents and shit. And once I, get some coins saved up again, we'll do it, man. We'll do it.
TJM show, man. We got enough acts.
We should end up doing having because I want to be there on the next one. We'll end up doing feel like a little, it's not a tour, but I want to feel like we travel together and we're just like, fucking hell, it feels like a tour.
Well, Bipolar, I was speaking to them and they said, we asked, I said, look, man, how long did it take to plan? Was it hard? And they said, yeah, look, this has been in the works for about a year, and Sydney was the biggest pain in the ass out of all the states because he goes, it always starts with emails. You send emails or messages, phone calls, whatever, and then it's just waiting for replies on which state and where they're going to put you on. Then obviously you got to try correlate that and line that up for your tour, right? Make it work. Then you plan your dates. One, you then got to try get people to fucking come. Right. And two, so they were saying that Sydney was such a pain because no one would respond or no one wanted to have hip hop stuff in Sydney. Two, when Lazy Bones did respond, they didn't even let us let them use their decks and shit. And they had club decks there, but they didn't want us using them. So that's why Lucian Black had to bring his little fucking home studio decks and shit, which was still great. They were fucking awesome. They were like touchpad.
Yeah, but if you got to pay for the venue,
didn't he say they had the source decks from someone? Didn't he say? Even borrowing people's decks was a pain in the ass. He had to find decks to use. They weren't even his deck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just said it was Sydney was a pain in the ass. Yeah. I was like, yeah, typical. But about a year of planning and then they made it work. And look, it's a shame that our Sydney one was on Sunday because I feel like we could have fucking really got turned up. But I mean, Melbourne looked like it popped off.
But a show's a show, bro. And like I said, networking, something good came out of that.
Yeah.
Even if one of the few things that came was you got your exposure out there, and now networking, bro. Like that guy, if you send him the shit and he plays out your stuff, that's only.
It was fun anyway. Like it was good practice, and we could 100% pack out that venue. 100%. If we did a TJM show there on a weekend.
So who's in charge of getting people there? Is it the people that set it up the night? Or it's up to you guys as well to help out with you obviously got to market yourselves and be like, hey, we're going to be here at this point. Yeah. But are they relying more on the artists that are there to reach out to their fan base and then all their fan bases combined will get
pretty much?
Yeah. They won't do any marketing.
They said they won't market for you. It's on you guys to do it.
It's on us.
They said they even rely on people just walking in, like random dudes who just
again, I got a photo with these Asian fellas. Man, shout out to these dudes. I never got their names, but that was just it was a shame they come after our set. So we played, and then it was about 8 o'clock. I just noticed these two random little Asian dudes in the back, just jamming. So I went up, was talking, yeah, where you guys from? And he was like, bro, he's like, yeah, we're just locals. We just live down the road, and we just saw that there was something on for hip hop, and we love hip hop, so we just rocked up. I was like, that's fucking so cool on a Sunday. So these motherfuckers got work tomorrow, but they still rocked up for a drink or two, listen to some music, and then go home.
Yeah. And it's a sit-down venue dinner place, like those chairs.
Yeah, and the food was good.
Was there like a...
Bro, it was good.
Was there like an area, not necessarily a dance floor, but was there...
Not really.
No, so that's the biggest thing
It's like a jazz venue.
That's what I said. Obviously, I'd speak
You
to
need a
them.
little D floor. or
Yes,
something.
we'd clear some tables to make a little D floor.
It could be easily done.
It could be done. It'll be done. Because like I said,
Easily
as
done.
we spoke about before, the vision is obviously EDM mixed with hip hop type stuff. You know what I mean? You could MC the night if you want.
Oh, please.
It'd be unreal.
We can do it
please,
easy.
bro.
We'll do it easy.
Yeah,
But-
if
'Cause I wanna
you
be
guys,
involved.
like if you guys end up releasing that track, like with the Jim was like
Yeah.
helping you out with them. Like if you end up keeping the heavy vocals, I'm like, if it adds to your live set, I'll do that song with you and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like,
Fucking
live,
oath.
live for you.
Right,
100%.
it'd be sick.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. These are all things we're gonna do, man. Just you gotta again. December's a bit crazy, so let us roll
Next
this shit out the
year.
way.
Yeah,
and
next
then,
year, man.
But other than that, man, I reckon let's fucking wrap this up. 'cause
Yeah, we've been going a while,
This has
bro.
been a whopper. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's good.
Unless anyone has any last minute points they want to bring up.
Not really, man. I'll
Before
save
we-
them for next week.
Raz,
No, I
yeah.
think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
That's it. We've covered Asian iRobots. We've
Yeah.
covered drinking your own, trying your own
Cum.
coming in your own
Live
belly
shows,
button, live shows,
animals.
Getting chased by junkies.
getting chased by
Starting
junkies.
businesses.
Yeah,
Man,
this
Raz,
one's a jam-packed
Typical
one.
fire cars.
thank you so much, my man. It's been a fucking pleasure, bro.
Thank
you, brother.
God, and I'm sure this won't be the fucking last time
No,
you're on this
definitely not.
goddamn
Definitely
show.
not.
Thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming, and I will be back again if you have me.
Yeah, for
as
sure,
always.
bro.
Always.
And guys, thank you so much, man. Another full panel. Thank you very much.
Salud.
Sweet.